massive, massive.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the West Ham Review. I hope you've had a good, glorious day. It was a very lovely sunny day today. And here I am with my co-host, the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Budgie. How are we, sir?
All right, mate. I sometimes sit here and I wonder what word is he going to come out with this one. You know, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I love that one. You'd need a bit of Mary Poppins fan to remember that. But yeah, I'm doing well, Tone. Well,
Good,
moving somebody. I've been helping my friend move, and she's got ill health and everything else. So I've been doing a lot, me and my son.
Nice.
So, it's been quite a tiring week, but, fruitful, if you like, because now my friend's happier and sold her out, etc. So, yeah, all good.
Nice, mate. Nice. It's always good to do something like that, isn't it? All people
Yeah.
So that's good. So let's say, as always, the great people in the chat, let's see where we go from there. Obviously, I see you put in there, evening chatters, please remember to smash like and subscribe. It's free, which it definitely is.
Yeah.
Let's try it with the old bloody thing. There he goes. Start off with good old Ray. Good evening, Ray. Good evening, Budgie.
Right.
And Brendan, good evening to yourself. Tont and Budgie, long time no see. Yes, it feels like that.
Yeah.
24 hours is a long time. Good evening, Stephen. Evening, guys. And also, he's also saying hi, Budgie, as well. Oh, it's been raining where you are. No, I mean, I think it's supposed to change in the evening time here, but yeah, it's been a very nice, glorious, sunny day. Clear skies over in Essex way, so it's not been too bad at all.
It's been nice here in Sussex as well.
Nice. Good evening to the Frog as well. Evening, Tony, Budgie, Ray, Tog, Stephen, fellow Earthlings. Hope we've all been good. Yeah, not too bad at all, mate. Not too bad.
Evening, Froggy. Nice to see you, bud.
Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate it as well for us. And good evening to our good old friend Lee. Hope you're well, mate. Hello, everyone, he's saying.
Evening, Lee. Welcome.
Good, mate. No, and I was just good evening to Jeff, the Bowling Lounge. Thank you, Jeff. I've just seen the message as well. Thank you, mate. Hope you're all good as well. And also the same Frog, evening, Ray and Stephen. Usual, good evening to yourself. Beautiful day here today as well. Nice. And as always, say hello to each other, which is brilliant. Catch it up, yeah. Good evening to Words and Pictures. Evening, Tony and Budgie. We need a spoonful of sugar out the foot will go down. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Yeah.
Buddy.
Definitely need that. Brendan saying some fellow in Dublin was jailed today after making 11,000 calls to the emergency services. That is commitment. Jesus Christ. God, bloody hell.
11,000 calls. I mean, what do people do with their lives? I mean, come on.
I mean, of course, many moons ago, like I said, I did St John's Ambulance. When the London Ambulance Service went on strike, we had to cover it as a duty.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised what people do, the call outs they do, and some sick ones as
I
well.
can imagine, son. You know.
Yeah.
Can imagine.
Not good, telling you the RTC on the A13 and there's a baby involved and there's nothing there at all. Wrong.
Yeah.
Daz, good evening to yourself as well, mate. Tony and Budge.
Evening, Daz.
Thank you, Ray. Good evening to yourself as well. Is it? Sorry, Stephen, to hear that. Bit shit here in Devon today.
Oh.
Yeah, but you know full well, Stephen, when that sun's out, it's a glorious place to be. Lovely.
One of the best. I love Devon. I spent the best part of a year working down there in a place called Hope Cove.
That sounds nice.
Oh, it's beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Very picturesque. And yeah, it's just such a nice place. Great people. But we're all grockles to them down there.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what they call us, grockles.
Yeah.
If you're not from Devon, you're a grockle. Even the old, mate, they don't like the Cornish people, do they? Devon and Cornwall don't get on.
Nah, it's true. I mean, it's like if you go to, if they hear us in North Wales, yeah, they don't like the English, right?
Nah. But it was really bad, booking into places and that, in Devon, with my surname, which is Cornish, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you're definitely a grockle," and I was like, "Yeah, I know."
That's brilliant. Better say, Daz, yeah, I see what you did there. Where's the pictures? Good evening to Mama Flossie. Hope you're well. Evening, Tom and Budgie. Mama. Good to see you. Yeah, it must have been an emergency. Bloody hell. Yes, definitely for that. 11,000 calls. Jeez. And they're saying hello to each other, which is always good.
We love it.
Look, yeah. Woolacombe. Yeah, nice place.
Woolacombe. Yeah, very nice. Woolacombe Bay, I believe there is, isn't it?
Yeah, nice place.
Yeah, it is a very nice place.
Brenda's saying that's where Budgie was smuggling at the Emirate nose.
Oh, God.
That's where the name comes from, and that. Brilliant. And we've quite up with a chat, which is super.
She's given up calling me Budgie now. She just calls me Smugs.
Seen that. Howard, good evening to yourself. Good evening, all you beautiful people. Come on, you irons. Hope you're well.
Good evening, Howard.
Yeah, absolutely. Say hello to them as well. And Frog saying, just seeing a picture of the bowling perks my week up. Yeah, what a place. Yeah.
Yeah, it does do that.
Sadly missed. Sadly missed. And they all say hello to each other. Don't know if you saw the interesting news, which is, good news really for us is old Freddie Potts signing an extension to keeping there till, was it 2029? That's nice.
29, yeah. Which puts him in the same category now as Jared Bowen and Wan-Bissaka. They're both thingbobbed until 29, aren't they? So that
you believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing is a gradual build-up of the spine of this team for the next 5.
Maybe nice.
For a 5-year period, is what I'm thinking. Freddie Potts, we know what he's capable of. We know how well the Portsmouth fans have taken to him. They don't want to lose him, but unfortunately, he's still a West Ham player. So, first dibs.
I mean, Do you think for next season he'll break into the team?
Look, Tone, there's no guarantees of anything in this game, especially at West Ham, as we all know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Chances are very good for him, though, because the club have seen a huge amount of progression out of the lad. You know, he's become an important player at the club he only went on loan to. So you don't expect a great deal from a loan spell, especially not like a loan spell that's been extended. You don't expect a great deal because it was only originally supposed to be a one-season deal, and then they extended it to 1.5 or something, or half a season and extended it to 1.5. But he's been there quite a while, hasn't he, Potts?
Yeah, because when you think about it, I mean, it was when you look at when he was at Wickham, he smashed it there. Portsmouth, he's smashing it there as well. So that tells you something. I mean, like, as you said,
it tells you he's ready for the first team, at least to be in with a shout for it. You know what I mean? And like, as I've said to you before, Tone, you've done coaching and stuff, and you know really more what to look at in a young player than I do. But I remember, what it's like trying to get noticed as a young player, and it's not easy. Especially if you're not world class, or if you're not showing world class attributes. It's very difficult to get noticed. I was an average player at best. I had some great seasons, but I was an average player. And it was so difficult to get noticed, even when you're trying to get into a local team. It was really difficult to get noticed. So Freddie Potts, listen, I tip my hat to players like that. He's done a brilliant job of giving himself a good shout at becoming a West Ham regular, in my opinion. Yeah.
Let's just catch up there. I mean, I'm pleased because, as you said, it just shows you that we are, looking to secure players like that, future-proofing ourselves for the long term. Good evening, Ian. Evening, all we're saying there. Stephen reckons he'll definitely break into the first team in that. I was saying, Tone, Budgie, great show last night. It was very funny. Good to enjoyed both the shows.
Thanks,
both. Good evening, Leon. Hope you're well, mate. Good evening, Tony and Budgie. Hello, all Emmers.
Leon,
saying hello each other.
Always nice to see you, son.
Howard also, usual also saying Howard. Yeah, I really enjoyed last night as well. I think everyone did. That's what we want to hear.
It was a little bit diverse, our show. The old school Hammers one. We didn't really concentrate too much on football. We were just having a giggle we let the chat dominate what we're talking about on nights like that.
Nice.
And we had a bit of a giggle. There was a bit of needle. Like people were having a little wind up with us, and that was brilliant. Really was good.
Look, we've made some good friends with people in the chat. I mean, it'd be nice to have them actually come on live on the show at some point as well.
Yeah.
But when when we've done watch-alongs, if the game's shit, right, we'll talk about TV programs, films, food, you name it. We'll go on that tangent kind of thing, and that's what it's all about. Not a case of you can't do that. You've just got to talk football. No, we want to talk about everything. That's what it's about,
That's what it's about. It's about, like when I did my little thing on Tuesday night, I brought it forward an hour to 9:00. And I called it Random Shenanigans because it was just going to be a random show. And, the actual description of it, I put just a bunch of mates, yakking about football, food, drink, movies and anything else we can think of. And then at the end I put, and aliens. We've got to have some aliens. You know what I mean? It was just because I knew that it was just going to go on a mad one on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And Jeff was on there, and I think even like to the point where, we were talking football, but we also went on a bit of a tangent as well. So it was great. And I think it was quite a good one. But last night was better.
Nice.
Well, no, not better. It was
different.
funny.
Different.
Really, really funny.
Yeah. Good evening to Trosh as well. Harry Kane had some unsuccessful loans. Yeah.
He did, yeah. In fact, Mark Noble had a couple of loan spells that weren't that great for him.
True.
You know?
True. Brendan saying, I see Ed Sheeran has asked football fans to be more creative with the abusive songs aimed at him. Didn't like Wolves fans calling him a see you next Tuesday. We all know what it'll be called in the next game. I agree with that one.
Yeah, it'll probably be a ginger see you next Tuesday.
Leah's saying that Waddy.
Yeah.
That was hilarious last night. He's also saying as well. Orient 1-0 up already. And cool. Chelsea are 1-0 up against City in the Women's Champions League. So it's 2-1 against the City at the moment. Okay. Ian saying an end to the international dross is in sight. Yes. Yeah. That's why obviously I've named it Back to Normality soon. What can we expect? Even hope you will.
If
James Lamprey.
Normality at West Ham.
Well, no, exactly. We know that's not the case with us, mate. That's for sure. James saying evening, Tony and Budgie and chat, of course.
Evening, James. Nice to see you, bud.
Good to hear that, Mama. You're doing all well. Yeah. Are you doing a watch along for the Wolves game, Tony? That'd be the Tuesday, wouldn't it? Be the Tuesday. Hopefully, I might be able to do something on the Tuesday. Yeah, I'll have a look at that. I know we've got a full program coming up. I know for the whole of April virtually. But hopefully, I can get myself sorted out because it'd be good to do one of them again. Yeah, and they're saying like each other talk shit. Steve's saying what we singing the Topher Ginger what? Yeah, definitely. They are boring. I mean, did you watch any England games? I mean, I think I only watched not even 5 minutes of it.
I watched the other night when Jarrod Bowen started. I watched the first 55 minutes because that's what Jarrod Bowen was playing. And then as soon as they booked him off, I switched off the TV and went about my thing. I think I switched the PlayStation on, actually.
What was interesting there was, I think it was the next day or the day after, and there was kind of like mixed reviews on Bowen's performance.
Yeah.
Which I thought was all well.
And then most people, pundits and those of us that would like to be pundits, you know, those of us that do YouTube channels and stuff, I think a majority of them were all assuming that, you know, it's going to be Rashford over Bowen from now on.
Well, he didn't have a great game, did he? Really, Rashford. He proved that even though the move to Aston Villa, he's not exactly changing the way he is.
No. And speaking of Aston Villa, my question is, why does every manager keep picking Harry Kane? He's too busy in midfield to be a striker now. And so, pick a striker. Ollie Watkins. Mate, I'm not being funny now. For me, Ollie Watkins is the best homegrown striker in the world at the moment, even over and above Harry Kane. I know Kane's breaking records, but his game is so predictable. It's kind of boring to watch. It's kind of inevitable that he's going to get these goals because they more or less line the ball up on the line for him at times. And,
agree on that.
You know, it's kind of, you know, it's not exciting football with Harry Kane. I expect a lot of Tottenham fans would disagree with that. Maybe a lot of other football fans might disagree with it.
He's lost that yard of pace as well, hasn't he? You know, I mean,
I think Ollie Watkins, not only does he offer you goals and assists, but he offers you that heart attack excitement level. Do you know what I mean? It's like when he gets on the ball, no matter who they're playing, you think to yourself, yeah, give it to him. He's one of them players, you know, a bit like Robbie Fowler used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, you want it, when he was playing against anyone other than West Ham, you wanted him on the ball because he was exciting to watch.
True, mate. That is very true. That is very true. Because I think you like everything else. You want to see something different. But we said it last night. I think you could see that Tuchel's, is it the wage packet and the FA kind of taking over on that one. So we're seeing that. Let's bring this gentleman in. You know, it's been a while to have him back on there. And of course, he's probably cursing that I ain't been on his show for a while. But good evening, Ray.
Good evening, Tony. How are you? Thanks for having me on. Thanks for the invite.
You're most welcome, mate. And I don't know why I called you Ray. I just looked at the chat. That's what it was.
Budgie.
Right.
Good evening to everyone in the chat. I was in the chat earlier, but I kind of wasn't. I was just listening to the show. I was doing my after dinner chores, making my cup of tea and loading up the dishwasher and the like. So if I didn't greet or acknowledge anyone, apologies, but hi.
Good to see you, man. Welcome aboard again. Ian said, in fairness to Ed, he is the talented ginger. See you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Trotch said, Ezzy's moved up the rankings a bit. Rashford and Bowen and Foden's expense. I mean, Ezzy's a good player. I like Ezzy. Yeah. And Brendan saying that always wanted Ezzy. Yep. And he can play left, right, central.
I would definitely have Eze in my starting lineup for England. Definitely.
Moyes wanted Eze, didn't he? Interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Rumour has it, at least.
You know, can you blame him though if he did? You know, I mean, the boy's exciting.
He wanted Eze and got Ben Rama, so.
Yeah, wasn't quite the same, David.
Ian saying, Budgie, I think Tuchel will try and stop Kane dropping back into midfield. Still the best finisher. We can keep him in and around the box. Agree, though, that Watkins should feel hard done by. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, he does offer a little bit more. As we said, Kane, you know that he's so stubborn, he wants to break them records. And unfortunately, managers do pick him still.
Yeah, but the man's going to pull on a pair of bloody goalkeeping gloves any minute now. You know, you find him deeper and deeper and deeper in defence. You know,
you're not wrong.
I'm not. You know, look, I know I'm critical of Harry Kane mainly because he was at Tottenham, but you know, look, I do agree he is a dangerous man in the box. You know, he's dangerous outside of the box. And he, you know, if he finds a player he links up well, i.e., you know, Harry Son or whatever his name was, Heung-min Son, like he is a very good build-up and, you know, very good build-up player and, you know, an attacker. But I'm sorry, with the England squad, he hasn't clicked with anybody like that. He never has. And unfortunately, he can't play the football he did at Tottenham and perhaps does at Dortmund, you know. Not Dortmund.
Bayern.
But, Bayern. And I know that he's found his sort of playing soulmate at Bayern because you see how many assists he's had as well as goals.
True. It is true.
I mean, it's an incredible record and, you know, I'm not one to belittle a man's record like that. I'm never going to do that. But I just happen to think that as a striker for England, he's too busy in midfield to fulfil that role. He is the captain, and therefore he has other duties. But your first duty is to your main job, and your main job is not captaincy, scoring goals.
Yeah, agree. And not being funny, your job is a striker, so stick up at that end of the wood. You know, you've got a midfield that's supposed to be capable to do the job in the first place. So why are you encroaching into their territory? You don't need to.
Why they wear the white shirt with the 3 lions on it? Because they're supposed to be the best in the country.
JB saying, I think Bowen, good evening to yourself as well, JB. I think Bowen was too nice, to be honest. He seems to be like, wow, am I really? He's the captain of West Ham and a European winner. Needs to go out and give it the big one. Needs a Stone Island jacket. Stone Island jacket. Fucking hell. Steve was saying,
glad he said that, not on Harrington, because I was just about to go and put my Harrington away.
Steve was saying we keep seeing that West Ham keep investing in the academy, which is great. But I would like to know about Hermie. I think the kid could be a superstar in the future. Also, has place to burn. Well, I don't know if you've seen. There was an article a couple of days ago. Apparently, we're looking to offload the kid.
Yeah, 25 million. That's what.
And even to send him out on loan with an option to buy. I mean,
crazy. Yeah.
What do you make of that as well, Jeff?
I think it shows that Potter don't really fancy him, because I would think if he's one for the future but not quite ready yet, not going to be in and around the first team next year, it would have been ideal to send him out on loan, get some experience of English football. He's been at the club a while. He's had time to settle. He's not just arriving in the country, just thrown out, farmed somewhere else.
Yeah.
He's been around the club. He's had the arm thrown around him or whatever, and then go out for a year, go and prove yourself in this league or that team and give him a chance to shine. But if they're looking to do that with an obligation or just sell him on, then Potter doesn't see his future at West Ham, does he? It would appear.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, me and funny, we've talked about it, and I know that you've done it on your show as well, Jeff. I mean, it just seems to be, you know, Lopetegui's not exactly fancied him. You know, Potter's not exactly fancied him. What's this kid doing wrong? There's got to be something there.
Yeah, I mean, the reluctance to give him. I mean, he brought Danny Ings on, didn't he? A few games ago, instead of, like, we needed a bit of pace, and we got Danny Ings and
He's the oldest player in the Premier League on.
Right, so it just kind of didn't make sense. And what he has had, he's had, you know, a few minutes at the end of games. What can he?
No
do?
impact,
He hasn't really got any opportunity to show anything there, has he?
No. Yeah, no impact at all, is it, in that period of time? I mean, like, I think we all would like to see this kid do something, because 25 minutes later on was he 18 at the time? There's nothing to sniff at. But not to see him, you know, bit parts. I think in the last couple of games, he not even had half an hour on the pitch, is he, really?
He's not really getting any football with the 21s either, is he? So it's not like...
No.
He's not getting first team football, but he's getting... He's sort of in limbo. You've got to feel a little bit sorry for the lad, really.
Yeah, of course.
He's come around halfway around the world to a new club. You know, whether he thought he was playing first team football or not, but he's on the periphery of the first team, but not really getting any minutes. He's not really getting any sort of beneficial football apart from his training sessions through the week. I mean, I don't think that's... Yeah, I just... And the idea that they're willing to just sell him or loan with the obligation, like I say, I think it shows that... And Potter's had time to have a decent look at him now, right?
Surely you think that, wouldn't you? You'd think you'd have that.
But it seems odd. It seems an odd one.
Yeah, I think it's one of those...
leave us scratching our heads for quite some time, I've got to be honest.
It'll be one of those questions, Budge, Jeff. You know, where why does toast always fall butter side down? It'd be the same. It'd be the same with him. Why is this kid not give a chance? Troy's saying, Jeff, you got a nice room, but he said he's also a claret and blue padded cell.
Thanks, Roger. Well, sometimes it is.
I can confirm that.
I mean, usually saying the same thing. It's a mystery what's going on with him. I think it's one of the questions we can talk forever and a day. You know, that's for sure.
Yeah. And no matter what we say, we'll probably never be any closer to the actual truth.
That's true. I agree with that as well.
I mean, I reckon the best source of information for this one would probably be West Ham clips, because he'll say something completely outrageous and it'll be so near the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah. I'm going to come back to Frog's question in a minute. Just going back on the Jeff stream and that. Is that the sex dungeon he's asking, Howard?
Oh, he's gone again.
Oh, he's moved and he's knocked the wire, I think. He's knocked
does
the power
this.
cord.
He does this.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
JB saying, yeah, the House of Hammer. Oh, yeah.
Where is he?
Need to lure Katy Perry down there. Yeah, I think he's knocked the old power cord, hasn't he?
Looks that way. He was looking down and then it all went tits up.
And they're saying like to Jeff as well.
Evening, Jeff, and goodbye.
Yeah. Brendan's saying, as a Hammer fan, there was definitely sadomasochism involved. How?
Yeah, probably, mate.
So, without a doubt, Togs. I know a fair few Hammers from the scene back in the day. Self-flagellation. Wow. Terence, good evening to yourself as well, mate. I think Jeff will come back in shortly. I think he's realised he's done something. Yeah. Evening, gents. Hope you well, Terry.
Evening, Terence.
Ian saying, I feel a bit for Bowen as he didn't have his best game, and that was noticed. I think he's had some good games for England, looking lively, but I don't think he's had any credit for it. Well, yeah, we know it. Right. When you look at something like that, yeah. Premier League have to have two. Yes, I've seen this as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
First one's for 10 days. And then when the World Club Cup is being played, they're shutting the window and they're going to reopen it again 14 days later or something.
Yeah. Oh, dear me.
Which is a bit of a daft one, but, you know, I can kind of see why they're doing that, because anybody that's in the World Club Cup can then bolster their ranks with their new players, get them involved in that tournament, a bit more pre-season for them. You know what I mean? I do kind of get it, but what about those of us that ain't even going to see a World Club Cup game?
Yeah, exactly. You know? Oh, he's looks like his computer's going through a update and it shut itself down. So he'll be back in shortly. He'll be back in shortly. Oh, Ray, that would be nice. Can we get Clivert? What a player.
Yeah, he's not bad, is he? Not bad.
Not bad at all. Lee's saying even... Sorry,
with a name like that, he can't not be good, can he?
Oh, it's true. That is true. Yeah, I mean, I like what, you know, and a good boo for Bournemouth as well, when you look at that. Playing really well for him. Leo saying even Son's levels has dropped at the Spuds since Kane left. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He needs to move on and all. Frog saying that, Mama, I have to keep out in it. YouTube could do with a great sidebar. Hello and good evening. Yes, true. There is that. Trudge also saying possibly age and money as much as no Kane, I reckon a bit, Leon. True. He's 31 now. We're in that kind of age. How's that going to work, Toby? Yeah, 32. Oh, usual. Look at that one. It's a dog eat dog with Son.
He went to Batsy Dog Time, didn't he? And said it was the best takeaway in London.
Jesus. Is that for the World Club? Yeah, it is. Is that just for the World Club? It is indeed, Stephen. Yeah. Money. What age is Son? Ancient. Yeah, he's been on for a while, and here he's back again. Welcome back, mate. Welcome back.
Hi, sorry about that. I had an inadvertent shutdown.
No worries. And big up to a good friend.
We know you're a computer whiz.
Yeah, absolute whiz. Yeah.
Brilliant. Welcome and to our good old friend from Oregon Goon, Dow. Good to see you, mate. Kudos wants the arse now, they say him. Well, we'll come on to that in a minute. So Son's probably losing some pace now as well. Yeah, he's not been looking the same as he as well. He had a little glimpse where he started off all right and he's gone back to how he is now. No, Oregon, he wants to win silverware. We will stop kudos for Rice. Yeah, Trosh, all day long.
Dream on.
And it's nice that, I mean, by all accounts, Rice keeps tabs on the club still, even though he's no longer an amateur.
Yeah. He loves West Ham.
Of course he does. And I think he's very pleased because we were talking about Freddie Potts. He's very pleased for the kid signing that extension and that. So it's nice. He keeps tabs on us. Yeah. Brenda saying, no idea, Leon, Stephen. If it's something to do with the Club World Cup, I don't know if that's it, as I'm no more F's to give on pointless football. Yeah, trying to say with the kudos thing, we're throwing Danny Ings for free. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, bloody hell. We'll trade your Havertz. Jesus.
No, you're right, mate.
It's like playing top trumps with the old cards coming out. Jeez. Ings over Kai. Yeah, bloody hell. Dash says Kudos will go in the summer, he thinks. Well, we know his head's been turned.
A lot of us believe that.
We know his head's been turned, isn't it?
Yeah.
Frog's best player, Ings and Avramopoulos on in the last 5. What a masterstroke. Yeah. And you always kind of cringe when you see Mavropanos come in the last couple of minutes on.
Yeah.
I think it's tougher just for those clubs, isn't it? Yeah. Sure thing, Brennan. And Leo said we'd also give Arsenal Danny Ings ear surgeon for free as well. Ian said, I find it staggering we have not tried Gilherme a bit more. Give him a second half at least. May not be up to it, but how can we really tell? It's really strange. Yeah, I mean, interesting. Stephen's also saying that apparently Potter blocked his move in January. So why? Why has not been given time?
Yeah, it all seems odd.
Yeah.
Gonna throw this one in for Frog. He was saying that Premier League clubs need to sort something out next season. La Liga is far more entertaining, and this is, I think, the problem. When you look at the blueprint now for most of these clubs, it's very repetitive. Everyone seems to be doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you agree on that?
Yeah.
I was walking the dog actually yesterday thinking about this because I was thinking how boring it's been watching West Ham the last few games, and I'm thinking, is it just me? Am I being a bit? And then I think, actually, quite a lot of Premier League football, quite a lot of time is quite boring to watch, I think. And I was thinking, who's not boring to watch? I was thinking, no, look, you watch sort of teams like Bournemouth and Brentford, and I think, no, they're not boring to watch. They're quite exciting to watch. They produce good games of football, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, we're a bigger club than Bournemouth or Brentford. But what I'm saying is, if you look at them as they're both pretty established, mid-table.
Yeah.
Might give the European places a run in a season like this season. Yeah. Well, it's not really that dissimilar to what West Ham do, is it?
No, true.
And you think, well, if these clubs can do that, playing that football, why can't we get that formula to play a bit more exciting football? I think we should be able to, right? It's not a direct dig at Potter. This is just overall what we've been exposed to. Potter's got to have a chance. He's had the injuries. He's not got his players. He's a summer coming. All of those things. I don't know if he's completely going to transform the side into what some people's expectations are, but I take on board all of those things and handicaps that he's got at him. But still, I look and I think, I don't see us producing that kind of exciting football.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in some respects, like Potter has basically had to take control of a vehicle that's going badly out of control because somebody decided to step out from behind the wheel, and it's, Potter's got a recovery job on his hands. It's not just a building project, this, that, and the other. He's got a recovery job. He's got like the players, they must still be on a free fall from the Lopetegui period.
Yeah.
Because none of them really knew what they were supposed to be doing. None of them had any real direction about them, because of the lack of direction from the sidelines, I believe, And, so Potter's got to repair all of that. He's got to repair the relationship between the club and the fans. And that's all fallen down on him because he's the one in charge of the team, So, I think it's a bit harsh to be judging Potter at the moment because I think he's done exceptionally well given the circumstances he came into the job under.
He has done well, but in a measure of games, I don't actually know the answer to this, by the way. I'd have to look it up. Has he done better than Lopetegui or around about the same? I'd say I don't know, but I bet it's about the same.
Yeah, it is roughly about the same.
Point wise, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that kind of saved Lopetegui, though.
Lopetegui was doing such a dreadful job, right? Potter's come in and done such a brilliant job. Why is there fuck all difference between the outcome?
Yeah,
that's a bit harsh. I don't actually mean that.
I suppose I think
you know,
it's not wrong.
Repair job, you know, and you know, when you've got a team of players out on the pitch playing a game of football, they're not playing for their manager because they've lost faith in him, and then all of a sudden a new manager or coach comes in and takes over. They're not going to know anything about this new guy, really, to be fair. And, you know, it's going to take a while for him to gain their trust and their attention and stuff. I mean,
but they look like they do know what they're doing a lot more than they ever did under Lopetegui now, don't
Of course, you know.
There's a more style of football, isn't there? You see the style of football is much different because, I mean, like Budgie said earlier.
A little bit better now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, you know, Budgie said it.
That's one major difference between Lopetegui and Potter. You can absolutely differentiate is when you looked at Lopetegui, you were scratching your head going, no wonder, like, I can't fucking work out what they're doing or what they're supposed to be doing. They don't look like they've got any fucking idea what they're doing or what they're supposed to be doing. You can't actually say that about Potter's team. They are absolutely more organised.
There's more of an identity with it. There's more identity with it, Jeff. I mean, I understand what you said earlier. I mean, when you think about it, you know, we all know that, and I suppose the only kind of saving grace is some of the games we won and the points we had at the time. It was quite surprising how we got them in the first place, because that saved us being right down in the, you know, and you've seen quite a few people say the relegation area. But with this lot, it's the fact that Potter's come in and I make what Budgie said. You know, he's had to kind of bring that identity back. We see some glimpses where we can be good, but at the same point, we do see that point where suddenly he doesn't get it right and we look poor. So you've got a question in certain respects. Is it Potter or is it really the squad that he's got to work with? And I'd say sometimes it's more the squad. Yeah, I'd say it's more down to the squad, because we know in certain areas.
I mean, like I said, you know, he's got to gain their trust and everything. You know,
we are weak in certain areas. Yeah,
must have felt battered when Lopetegui was in charge. They must have felt battered. You know.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you know, I think it's seen the season out.
It takes a little while for them to gain their trust in the next man. You know,
I suppose
I'm speaking from kind of personal.
I don't know. I think you're trying to treat them too much like fucking toddlers, though. With all of that, a bit much. I get the emphasis of what you're saying, but he's been here. I don't think they still need mollycoddling now. They need to fucking get on with the program. And I believe that they are, by the way. I'm not suggesting in any way that he's not being embraced or they're not. You know, I think that you can see it. So I think they are. Yeah, they have embraced it, and they are trying to do what he says.
Yeah, take the cotton wool off, Jeff.
Yeah, I just look. What's driving me mad more than anything right now is like playing without a striker, right?
Yeah.
So it's driving me crazy, right? And I get the 3-5-2 thing, and I get at Arsenal. I thought it worked absolutely brilliantly at Arsenal. And then we played Leicester, and I know everyone said it was the same, but it wasn't, because you could see he pushed those wing backs much further, and it was a much more attacking 3-5-2 in that respect. And then it's game after game, and it's actually getting less and less effective in my eyes, right? And I just think we've got Ferguson there. He's played 75 minutes now for Ireland, scored a goal.
Yeah,
he's got another week back at the I just want him to get him in the team.
Yeah, that's another one, isn't it? I mean, you know, we're saying about Guilherme and that, but we get this kiddie. I mean, when you think he got him at Brighton, got him there at Brighton himself and that, but then for some reason we're not seeing game time from the kid either. So,
but I think he needs to change the formation to get him in
100%,
the team, right? And
100%.
now, so there's a dilemma for him because this is like his formula that he seems pretty happy to stick with. Maybe it's just to shore us up that bit defensively before he starts working through the thirds and further up the pitch, right? But we ain't got anything to fear from any games, have we? So,
what I was going to say, because on that, what you're saying there, like you said about we don't need a mollycoddle in that. We don't need to keep on playing this 5 in the back. We can change the formation. We've proved we can do it. He's proved he can do that. So grow the pair of balls and don't keep on thinking, I've got to be defensive. Because, we're going to concede a goal, possibly. But at the same point, we know full well if we go forward and we want to attack and get a goal, and that we can also do that as well. So have faith in that rather than be too defensive-minded, which then obviously restricts what we can do as a team. Just going on this, Ian saying, Jeff must have an understanding with the missus. I'd never get away with decorating a room like that.
Well, yeah, this is my space just as well because she's got the TV every night and I'm in here every night. But hey, there's worth surroundings. There's a big screen over there.
Let me help you out here, Jeff. Let me help you out here. I've met his missus, and she is the salt of the earth, boys and girls. I'm telling you. Absolute salt of the earth.
Yeah, good.
Won't have nothing bad said about her, not even by the old man, look.
Yeah. It's not part of the main house, though. It's definitely a dedicated room, like your space. Do what you like in there.
Nice.
Which I have done. And so I'm glad everyone likes it.
Yeah, absolutely right. To say Budgie has only got his record because if the crap these days England play, your score against Andorra overrated is off your back, Kane. Maybe Potter's confusing the opposition for next season because he's sure as fuck is most of us. Well, I mean, Lopetegui was the worst one for that. JB saying Paqueta looking more positive at the moment. If he doesn't get banned, he gets suspended money because does his head sway? Would he stay or would he push on?
Don't know. Depends on how much he values loyalty.
Which is a rare word these days in football.
The club have displayed immense loyalty towards him.
Absolutely.
I think if he's an honourable man, he will reciprocate.
Yeah, he should.
Look, I'm willing to sign another 2-year contract, but that's it. And once that's done, I'm gone.
Yeah, I agree on that. JB's saying about just power outage there. Russians kicking off, not the power cord. Good evening, old man. Even all you gorgeous peeps.
Evening, old man.
There. Wow. Stephen's saying, see, Brazil want Ancelotti, so Trent could be screwed.
Oh.
Because I'll come on to that, because Brendan's put on here saying about, so Liverpool could get a fee to Trent Alexander-Arnold if Rio want him for that competition, because obviously they're trying to push this, Trent going to Real.
Yeah.
But think about it.
Do they want him to go there?
Before the World Cup, before that World Cup thing. They want him before then.
When is that though?
Beginning of August.
Yeah. This is why we've got
he won't be leaving early then, really, because his contract will expire, 1st of June or whatever it is. And then he'll be a free agent, right? And then he'll be at Real Madrid in August. So I don't.
That's what they're looking for.
So I don't know how they can attract a fee. If his contract expires in June and he goes to Real in August, that's that.
Rio want to get him beforehand.
But how can they? That's not a transfer window, is it?
I know, exactly.
They can do a pre-agreement and all that.
Then
they'd have to make I get it now, because then they have to make an arrangement with the club to release him early. So then he can attract a fee in that way.
Yes.
Okay, okay, well, maybe that's true then. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hadn't come across it, so I'm sorry if I felt a bit slow, but I was a bit behind the story.
No, that's fine, because the interesting part of that, obviously there's talks of Mo Salah moving on to Saudi as well. So Liverpool are going to be looking out for some players, and apparently West Ham is being looked at, a couple of other players. Well, a particular player Who do you think that player is, according to
Jared
the rumours?
Bowen.
Nope, not him.
By who? The Saudis.
Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool.
Well,
it wouldn't surprise me if it was
probably.
Alvarez.
Not Kudos either.
No.
Alvarez.
Well, we've just said about Trent leaving.
Oh, what? Wan-Bissaka?
Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Apparently, he's on their radar.
Yeah. Keep your little red mitts off. We've only
Apparently,
just got him. We love him. You can keep your little mitts off him. Wow.
But seriously, he's on like a 7-year deal, ain't he?
Yeah. And he cost us 15 million. And if Liverpool
So
want
what
him,
are we going
I
to
can imagine us trebling it.
What are we going to demand for him to go then? Because it's not like
40, 45.
That's what I'll be thinking. Because you got to think, mate. Man United, will they pay 50, 55
well, if it's
for
worth
him?
50 million to Man
50,
United, you might as well squeeze fucking Liverpool's nuts in you and gone, if you really want him.
Yeah.
Why
not? Why not? It's like that, you got to think, from that Rice deal, that's the first time that we actually kind of got a player sold for serious money, and we've actually made something out of it rather than lose that every single time.
I mean, unless the player's going to make a fuss, right, and really force out an exit and be difficult in that way, right? West Ham are in a position of real strength here for once, yeah?
That's what I'm saying,
look,
Jeff.
we've got this player on a 7-year deal. He's an integral part of our team and our plans going forwards. And they're going to have to really, really pay for him. So if West Ham can get Liverpool to absolutely pay through the fucking nose for him, right, and get whatever funds, whatever figure anyone wants to put on it through the door, I'm not like advocating the sale of Wan-Bissaka, but I mean, it might be an offer too good to refuse, right?
Yeah. Especially if we can get 2 or 3.
But you've got to make sure it is. Otherwise, fuck off. We'll keep him.
We don't want to go back to the old days.
Oh, sorry for swearing on your channel, Tony.
No worries, mate. No worries. I think if you look at it with that, Jeff, I mean, we don't want to go back to the old days. That's what we literally used to do. We don't want to be in that same route. I mean, look at Troji's one here. Dream scenario: we get 85 million for Kudos, 80 million for Paqueta from City after he's cleared, and we rebuild the squad with top homegrown talent and youth. That would be the ideal scenario.
Yeah,
what a load of wank he's got there. West Ham must use the Kudos money to get Liam Delap, or at least a lump of it. He's Dean Ashton too.
He ain't coming to West Ham.
Yeah, well,
he's going somewhere, but he ain't going to be at West Ham.
Not when you consider the likes of Chelsea and Everton. No, not Everton. Chelsea and Man City have been looking at him.
Well, it'd be an idiot if he goes to Chelsea. That's for sure.
Man United might be in the market for a new number 9, might they?
Well, I think they are.
So, I'm sure they'd like a Liam Delap, wouldn't they?
Even with that, though, Jeff, would you want to go to there knowing what's going on with him at the moment? God, blimey.
Well, if you going to be like sold a project like Mohammed Kudus or whatever was by our former director of football, and that's all we ever heard, a project. And now you've got Amorim, the up-and-coming, new special one at Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, to put us back on the platform and fire us back into Champions League football and one thing. And you could sell that to a player. By the way, you're going to be on 250 grand a week. Yeah, there's a lot of persuasion going on there, isn't there?
There is that, but I suppose hopefully you'd think they look at the other side of it and know that it's a massive project.
Historically huge club, though, right?
It is indeed.
We could say, look, we're only 3 points above us, or whatever. They're in a dreadful time. They're in the middle, but they are in the middle of a rebuild. So you could definitely go. You're going to be part of this phoenix out of the ashes, right? And here's a fucking big wad of money, to fill your pockets up with in the meantime.
Well, hopefully he's got a bit more of a head screwed on, and he looks at playing rather than the money kind of thing. Don't we know it's a short career in football.
He'd play there, wouldn't he?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. If he feels because some players have got a bit of savvy about them. I'm not saying they've all got a savvy about them, but if he feels like if he's going to be part of a project where you can actually see progress, whereas if you think about it, Man United, it's a big club. We all know that. We can't deny that, and they've been recognised for. It's just a fact of it's a big ask to get that club to turn around. And it's not going to happen overnight.
I totally agree with all of that, Tony. 100%. It's been a massive job. It's been a massive job for the last manager and the manager before and the manager. But since Ferguson left, there's just been a turnover.
Yep,
there's bigger problems there than just to rebuild and the playing staff. But some of the playing staff, I think, and the dressing room is a part of that problem. And Amorim and Ten Hag before him, in fairness to them, I think are trying to make efforts to tackle that and instill what they want. Ten Hag didn't work out for him, but mind you, Amorim, you can see Ten Hag was a little bit like Lopetegui. I think he's a better coach, by the way. But 18 months, 2 years in, you were still scratching your head about Manchester United a little bit, thinking, but what are they really? What is the end goal?
Turn their bloody fortunes.
Amorim, no, you can see his style. You can see what he wants to do. A bit like we're saying after Lopetegui. Couldn't see what he was trying to do. At least you could see so you can sort of like draw comparisons there between the change over. But he's still got that problem in that dressing room, and I do think it's massive. But by the way, if he gets Liam D up there and they pay whatever they pay for, and they want to sell Højlund on the fucking cheap, I'd take him. I know that might not be popular when I heard the sharp intake of breath from you, but no, I think I tell you what, he's a little bit like Nicholas Jackson was a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Chelsea,
I see that
he
side
looked
of
a
it.
little bit of a joke, right? And everyone was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, how much for him?" And now you look at him now and you think, "Oh no, there's a player there, right? And he's improved and adjusting to the league." Well, I could see that progression happening with Højlund, and I think he's a young lad still, Højlund, right? And he's not supplied with any chances in that team. They don't give him the right service.
No,
not saying we would, but if we set up properly and play properly, he's a proper centre forward, right?
True, it could be the right fit for him.
I tell you, I think he's got loads of improving to do. I really like that. I think he'd be too much. I think he'd be too much money for us. I think they want too much for him. But yeah, if he was in the price bracket and they were going to sell him cheap enough, I'd be all over that. I'm probably getting laughed at in the.
We'll catch up with that.
Don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, no, I really rate his potential. I think is massive.
We'll come back on that. I mean, Terence has got a question for us, though. Gentlemen, may I ask a serious question? He's nearly 60. At that age, do you worry when you fart?
Every time, brother. Every time.
I do like a little fart in the morning, and the missus tends to vacate just in case.
So you got one room and you're trying to get the rest of the house. That's the way you do it. I get that. Frankie, good to see you as well. Evening all as well. Very good, mate. And I hope the same for you as well, Frankie. Long time no see, my friend. Trying to say, the lap, Branthwaite, best young keeper in England. JB, haven't City got first dibs on getting Delap back if they want him? I think they're on going to be on a massive rebuild.
I don't know. Have they got an option on him or not?
Don't know.
I think if you look at it, I think it's like what's his name, Palmer at Chelsea. If he decides he wants out of Chelsea, City have got first dibs on him.
Have they?
Yeah.
We've probably got first dibs on Divine Mabama.
Yeah. See that coming off.
Do you think he's going to make? Oh no, that's all right. It's a tangent. Let's leave that.
That's another comment. Yeah. I'm going to say now, I've got a disease where I can't stop telling airport jokes. The doctors say it's terminal. But if they want Paqueta, they're better of a deal with us and stay away. Winky wink. Frog saying, Terence, depends on the timbre of said expelling of air. What if we reverberate? Frankie's saying, "I have Bowen over Kudos." Yeah, see, and Frankie's an Arsenal guy as well, so it just shows you they see the difference.
I think Bowen would be more effective for Arsenal than Kudos.
Yeah, definitely on that. JB's saying also like McAtee to replace Kudos, Young, English, etc. Add him and Delap.
He's a good player.
McAtee,
he's a good player.
He's a good player as well. I agree on that. I do agree on that. Dale saying 100 million price tag for Dibbling from Southampton. What? Well,
yeah, no, it's mad, isn't it?
But this is what Southampton used to do. I mean, like, Brighton's now taken over from Southampton. But you remember there was that season they sold X amount of players, made a fortune.
They did it with Lallana. They sold, didn't they? They put like big price tags on them. But fair play to them. Listen, they might not get 100 million, but if they're putting out an indication they're prepared to sell, and they're saying you're going to have to pay big money. They get 80 million for him. What's he done? The kid's not really done anything yet, has he?
No.
But he's a fantastic property.
It's kind of another.
He looks class, doesn't he?
Theo Walcott scenario.
Yeah.
All that promise.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
True.
He looks like he'd be a right player, though. I mean, he's just
starting out.
Say, oh
yeah.
Luis Guilherme, the next Brazilian player, after Ronaldinho or whatever the case may be. Yeah, we want 100 milli for him, mate. We ain't even given the man 10 minutes on the pitch.
No, that's right. Trying to price out.
Dibbling has been playing for. That's the difference.
Oh, is he?
He's been like.
I don't know him. I don't know who he is.
I think he got an injury, and that's put him out for a while. I don't know if he's back or not, but he was playing. Yeah.
I was saying we'll have Lewis Smelly, Oregon. We said on Tuesday in a statement he wants to move to a massive club that wants European silverware. Sky Sports said it's West Ham. Come and get me. You measure that well. Dwayne Dibley, 100 million hours also saying as well. JB saying 23 watching and 11 likes. Come on, guys. Yeah, you heard the message. Now. Ian saying, I think the Premier League is a bit of a crossroads. For the first time, really, it's at risk of being boring. Pep, as brilliant as he is part to blame. Mimicking is taking Englishness out of football. Not a bad statement, actually.
We touched on it earlier when I think we're in agreement with that, really.
Yeah, they ignored the fans who didn't want a VAR, same as the government. True, Troz, you're not wrong on that one. Absolutely, for the Premier League has become boring. Troz saying also selling us out. Leon's gone. A lot of the other channels are saying it'll be boring next season. Surely that's down to whoever we bring in during the transfer window. And that's going to be a big telling point for us, really.
Yeah, I mean, yes, if we can bring whoever in, and if the coach, whoever it is, happens to be Potter, right, sets us up in a boring fashion with boring tactics, then it's going to be boring no matter what the personnel. But I think what the hope is that if he brings in the players that he wants in the key areas that he needs them, hopefully he'll be able to come a little bit more expansive than he has been so far.
I agree on that. I think, we need to give him a window, maybe 2 windows at least, to see, getting his team established the way he wants it to be. So let's see what happens with this window, who we get rid of. I think we know, I think we've talked about it many times, what should be going. Good evening to Damien as well.
Evening, Damien.
Evening, my three good pals.
Really enjoyed chat with you the other night, Damien. I'm going to drop you a message as well, by the way. So look out for that. Look forward to chatting to you again, mate.
Nice. But as he's saying here, evening, my three good pals. I agree. Lopetegui's era has muddied us. I think it disrupted the group massively, and it's also made our fans think good players are not good. I hope Potter realises that. I think he has. I mean, that last sentence in itself, Potter, I think, has looked at it. And I suppose, like everything else, you can only work with what you've got in front of you. And you can only try and bring the best out of players. And if you can only do so much, it'll take time. And I suppose, as we've all said, the Lopetegui era has definitely sullied the waters. Because for me, the one thing kills us, as much as we can get all these points, the one thing that's killing us at the moment is that bloody minus goal difference.
All right, here's a serious question in regards like Potter and perhaps style of player, what might have been, if you like. If he doesn't lose Somerville in his first game in charge, and he's fit and available every week between now and then, does this West Ham team look different? I think quite possibly it does, right?
I'd say definitely it would definitely
Massively.
look different. Because, as you said, there's more creativity on the left-hand side.
Big loss, right?
Absolutely. Massive loss. Massive loss. And I suppose in certain respects, you can say the Antonio situation.
Antonio and Fulkrug. Fulkrug was looking all right for 15 minutes. I've got a bit tongue-in-cheek. But he really was looking, he was looking a bit like a number 9 doing the things he should have been doing, right? And then that was the end of that, right?
Yeah.
But if he'd have had a fit Fulkrug available to him as a bona fide number 9, would we be, he's got Ferguson now, and it's frustrating that he's not using him or hasn't really used him. But, just having a fit striker and Somerville, I think it changes the dynamic quite a lot in the team.
100%. Definitely agree on that. I mean, the only thing which has been a positive in certain respects, Cresswell seems to have a new lease of life under Potter.
Oh, mate, he's been reinvigorated, hasn't he? And I think a lot of that is a drive and desire to make West Ham great again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because he has got West Ham running through every single vein in his body. But also because Potter's the sort of manager that Cresswell gets on really well with. Cresswell tends to like the characters, from what I can make out anyway. He tends to like the characters that are open and have a humour about them. And, we know that Cresswell's one of the biggest bloody jokers in the pack at West Ham, and always has been. And I think that because Potter, he's not that typical, business first type of manager, or business only type of manager. Sorry, it's business first, and then we'll have a giggle. And I think Cresswell sort of appreciates that in him and wants to play for him. And that's a big thing. You've got to want to play for your manager.
True.
I think players like Cresswell, I think perhaps as fans, what we don't sometimes appreciate with players like that are how important their influence is in and around the dressing room. We don't always see that when they're not playing and they're not out performing for that 90 minutes. We don't see what goes on in the background. And experienced players like Cresswell in a dressing room are really, really important figures,
Yeah, of course.
And they got benefit just for that. Do you know what I mean? He knows West Ham. He's been here 10 years, right? He knows West Ham. He knows West Ham at the London Stadium. He knows West Ham before.
Played under 5 different managers, mate.
Right? And I mean, as we haven't had that many managers in our entire history, right? It's quite a record, isn't it?
That is quite a record. It is 5, isn't it?
I don't know. I start adding them up.
Moyes, Pellegrini, and Bilic. Oh, and didn't he play under Sam as well?
I think he did actually. Yeah.
Sam signed him, did he?
I think.
So that would be 6 players, the 6 managers.
Yeah. Agree on this comment here for Frog though. Moving on, the only game in my opinion the whole squad put in a full 90 this season was under Loppy against Newcastle, and that's when we beat them 2-0, and that's when
that was a very good game, Frog. I must admit.
That's where he looked rough, didn't it, old Lopetegui? Because obviously he was his dad and that, and once he kind of got himself all shaved up, I think the team kind
of went 10% in for him, didn't they?
Yeah,
it was a brilliant performance. I think the loss to Chelsea a few weeks back though was a pretty good effort from the boys. I think we were really unlucky to not get a result out of that.
Agree on
that. Winning away from home at a place like Newcastle and a team that is flying like us, hold silverware.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't help that. So no, it's no mean feat to go out there and do that. And we played, really well up there. It was a great performance.
It was,
Paqueta and
yeah.
Soler in the midfield that day, weren't they?
Yeah,
They were dropping in and receiving the ball. I mean, instead of that running out of ideas and pump it up all the time, we actually looked very, very different in that game.
Yeah.
But it disappeared after that, didn't it?
I said for me, I jokingly said, because he looked like he was like a homeless person when you know, because obviously dealing with his old man.
Dreadful, yeah.
Once he had a good night's sleep, and then he kind of got all trimmed up and everything else. There, we went to shit after that. He should have stayed as he was. We'd have been all right. Trying to remember when the Amber rule came in, it ruined the first 4 months of the season. Yes,
yeah,
new changes. Yeah, very much.
James
said, I blame the robotic system style of play for the reason the Prem has become boring. Yeah, look, I think we've said earlier, every team is virtually playing like each other. Dan is saying our performances haven't been bad because we've had bad players. We have gaps, but good players. The problem first off the season was poor coaching, poor team selections. Definitely agree on that. Yeah. And I think I've said it. Just listening to one of Lopetegui's press conferences, I had no idea what the bloke was on about. So what the players in the
he was always so confrontational as well in them.
Well, you couldn't understand what he's on about because it was all, and then he was going off on a tangent about this and the other, and
then when a journalist asked him a question, he goes, and he always looked confrontational to me.
Yeah,
well, it was like a standing joke, wasn't it? About how he interviewed well, and then you're watching him in the press conferences, and you're thinking, fucking fucking interviewed him.
Maybe for the Spanish channels, no problems whatsoever. For us, mate, yeah.
I mean, how did he interview and present himself? It baffles me.
Well, I'll say this one I was watching, Jeff. I mean, we were going like then also, and he said like Budgie just said, but he also, huh? And he's looking at the interpreter. What they say? Nah, not for me. Trosh, we're also looking after this kid from the Sunderland, Rig. So they want 20 million. We're looking to go for the 10 to 15 million.
I think the most important bit of English that Lopetegui learned, we start again and we try again.
Yeah, that was his catchphrase, wasn't it? That one.
We start again and we try again.
So like Russ's focus meter.
Yeah.
Terence is saying, Budgie also have faith in Potter. We're not losing 5-0 now, which is
yeah. And that's, I mean, but seriously, you'd hope anyone who came in would stop us conceding 3, 4, and 5 quite as easily as we were, wouldn't you?
Yeah, agree on that. Absolutely.
But he has shored us up. But he's made us look more organised as well.
Agree on that.
Going back to Brazil wanting Ancelotti, or the rumour that Brazil want Ancelotti, why not? He'd make them the force in the world again, wouldn't he?
Absolutely.
You know?
Wasn't he supposed to go there before and then stayed at Real Madrid?
They wanted him more, didn't they? They, and they enticed him.
They appointed that Santini or whatever his name was, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
And then he was there for like a year, and then he was gone. Yeah, but I think Ancelotti is probably at the moment he's probably the best manager in the world that's currently working. That's just my opinion. I'd love him at West Ham. Love him.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, I know he didn't do a great job at Everton, but that just seemed wrong from the start. It didn't seem the sort of team he would go in and rescue.
That was the ownership, though, wasn't it?
West Ham, because of the fact that it's an Olympic stadium and this and that, and I think that might kind of spark his interest a tad more than a tatty old ground from the 1800s.
Who, Ancelotti?
Yeah.
No fucking chance.
No, I'm just saying, I think he would have done better in the time he was at Everton, he would have done
Oh,
better.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant we were going to be attracting him.
No, God, no. I'm saying the rumour is that he's going to go to Brazil, and why the hell not? He'll make them the world force again. You know, he will make them the Brazil will love and know and remember. Even with the players that he's got currently, you know. Ancelotti is the man for that job, in my opinion. And, you know, I suppose it's a little bit of nostalgia in me, but, you know, other than, you know, that picture that we have behind us where we were world champions on that particular occasion, other than that, I think Brazil earn the right for it every year.
Yeah,
you know, it's kind of like, in my head, it's their divine right to win it. You know, and it's their own fault if they lose it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think Ancelotti will make them that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He will make them that solid, hard team to beat. You know.
But at the moment, what he's doing at Real, and you know, I don't think they'll want him to leave. They'll do it. They'll fight tooth and out to keep hold of him.
Wherever the man goes.
Oh, he does something, doesn't he? There's no two ways about it. Agree on that.
Maybe Sean Dyche will get the job.
You never know.
You never know.
I'm just thinking, like, after company.
I mean, just listening to you.
Company got the buy job, right? And now it's thinking, all right.
True, there is that. Yeah, stranger things have happened, Jeff. Yeah, I must admit. Look, I mean, listening to you two and that, I'll have to come down to the Carpenters one day and listen to you two having a talk in that pub, because I think people are thinking these two are having a fucking row. Trudge's asking the question: would you cash in on Kudos in order to afford Tolo the Man?
Don't know who that is.
Sorry, Tolo Damien. Sorry, yeah. I think
I don't know who Tolo is.
I've heard of the name. Words and pictures say we know what type of game Potter delivers. He is what he is. I mean, this complimentary is as good as SUV as utility manager. If we don't like the style, the problem is Sullivan, which is not bad. Yeah.
Actually, going back to that last question, I don't think I would want to cash in on Kudos unless we were guaranteed of getting somebody in replacement that would excite the fans as much as Kudos does. And for me, that would have to be somebody like, now I'm not suggesting that we would be in the market for them, but that would suggest somebody like, Isaac or Ollie Watkins, or maybe the young fella from Crystal Palace. What's his name?
Mateta.
Actually, he's another good shout, Mateta.
Yeah,
I like him too.
Oh,
the young lad. Eze.
Oh, Eze. He's not.
Oh no, he's not at Palace now, is he?
No, Eze's still there. Elise's one that's gone.
Oh, it's Elise that one. Yeah,
he's not coming.
Eze, I mean, they're the kind of players that I think that we should sell Kudos with a mind to go and look at. Players of that kind of stamp.
Yeah. We missed our chance on him.
Absolutely, Jeff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Going back to the Tolu kid, I mean, Damien's saying, Troz not for me, too young. I need a few more proven entities before bringing in a 17-year-old. Limited budget, 20 million on a 17-year-old, not for me. I understand that. Frankie's saying Potter must may be the right man, but the players average to do their bit. No matter what formation you're a footballer. Absolutely, you've got to do what's been told. That's the job at the end of the day. Unless they're 6'5", Damien. Yeah. Damien said, I agree with Jeff. He's done okay, Potter, but I need to see the evolution to this after the international break. That 5-3-2 sucks balls. As I said, he's got to kind of take the cotton wool off now. We know what the players can do. Let's be bold and see the rest of the season, the games out differently.
Yeah.
We would have paid 25 million for an 18-year-old. Yeah, don't want to be doing that again. 20 million, I think, and bulk in his add-ons. Yeah.
Are they talking about Rick, are they?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, because say that one, we want to go in on the cheap. Typical Sullivan. It looks like it'll be a Premier League quality in 2 to 3 years. Let's just see someone ready now. That's what we need. Yeah. It's usually saying Steele's going to be in trouble with signing Wiggy and Riggy. Let's say about the positions. Let's just trying to catch up on some of this. And trying to say, imagine Antonio having some competition for all these years.
Yeah. How many strikers have we signed? Yeah, to replace Antonio, and for one reason or another, he's seen them all off. You've got to give him a bit of credit for that.
Oh yeah.
He's not got any better than he is. He just is. He is what he is, right?
Yeah.
But everyone who's tried to come and dislodge him, right, haven't managed it.
Yeah, true.
Mate, it's like when you get people coming up to you and say, "Oh, you're a West Ham fan, aren't you?" You go, "Yeah." They go, "Fuck me, that Antonio. Wouldn't mind having him in our squad." No matter who
he's
they
a beast,
support,
right? He's scary.
He is a big, scary bear, isn't he?
Big old lump, isn't he?
And like, no matter what club they support, people say that about Antonio. Oh, I'd love him in our team. Oh, he'd be a monster and things like that.
Shame he was never technically better, really. But
yeah,
he is what it is, right?
Of course it is. You got to think at the end of the day, and that he still had that kind of because Dulwich and Hamlet he came from, wasn't it? I think as a youngster,
Dulwich Hamlet,
come through that. So that's that kind of
come through Tooting or somewhere, didn't he?
Yeah, around them kind of clubs.
He lived in Dulwich Hamlets, and he played for Tooting and
Tooting and Mitcham, I think.
Yeah,
Tooting and Mitcham, yeah.
Leon saying about obviously the fans have also shown loyalty too, Budgie.
Yeah.
Skamaka didn't like it. I think the problem was with Haller, Moyes. For me, just didn't use.
Yeah, I think Moyes is very anti-German.
Right.
You look at the similarities in those two failed striker signings, both German. Do you know what I mean? And David Moyes was
Skamaka's Italian, isn't he?
Skamaka's Italian.
Oh yeah, of course he is.
It's just a fact of he never played them never played them to their strengths.
Yeah.
And
Haller was a bit lazy as well, right?
It was that, I suppose, Jeff. But at the same point, you knew
Skamaka was a little bit lazy as well, to be fair. But they weren't being
both of them
roles that didn't suit them.
When Haller arrived, when they left, though, Jeff. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. I'll go afterwards before your kind of pre-part. Once they left us, look what they did. So it weren't the players.
No,
but sometimes it is the league.
Yeah.
So Premier League's different to some of the other leagues as well. And Agard's going around looking like a fucking Rolls Royce in the Spanish league. And if he comes back, we'll see how much of a Rolls Royce he is back in the Premier League. And you already know my theory. My theory is he don't fancy that week in, week out. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
So he's playing in a bit easier league. Yeah. And suits him, suits his style of football.
Yeah.
So I think the same is true of strikers. When Haller arrived, though, I thought he had all the attributes. I thought, oh, fuck me, we've actually got a proper number 9 here. And he put himself about a bit. But it kind of wore off. And whether he got disillusioned, whether it's the role he was asked, but he definitely seemed to lose interest. And, we didn't get the best out of him for sure. And he's clearly not a bad player because, as you say, he's gone on other leagues and he's played in the Champions League and scored plenty of goals in the Champions League. Right? So,
it's top level in the Champions League, hasn't he?
I mean, exactly, Budge. And then you look at Haller and that, gets over cancer and that, and still bangs in the goals.
Yeah.
Hats off to him. Obviously,
for sure.
They're saying about obviously the Liverpool thing. Obviously, the players, Howard's got it right, Damon's got it right. Frog's saying about Souček. So again, when you look at this one with Souček, there's the Everton and who's the other club? There's some other club looking at him as well for next season.
Really?
For Souček,
yeah.
Would you sell him, Tony?
I think if you look at it, you can't say that he doesn't like it here because he does.
Yeah, he loves the place.
you can tell he's settled in. He knows he loves the fans, and you can feel that feeling back. But at the same point, we've got to think of ourselves as a club moving forward. Is he part of those plans? Not as a first teamer, as a bit part player, bringing him on as an impact, when you need it near the last 15 minutes or so, when you knock on the door to try and get an equaliser, you're trying to get a winning goal. Someone like him coming on is your answer. That's why I tend to agree. That's why I see it.
I'd be happy to keep Souček, but I want him to be part of the squad rather than integral first 11 player. That's no disrespect to Souček. I just hope we're improving our midfield.
Oh, my theory's out the window then, because I'd give him the number 9 shirt.
But I don't think, I'm not sure what a job he would do up there. But I tell you what, someone offered 20 or 25 million for him. You've got to sell him, ain't you? You've got.
Well, I mean, the fee. I think
someone's offering you 8 million quid. You probably go, nah, you're all right. But if they're getting up 20, 25 million quid, you've got to kind of sell him, ain't you?
I'm even the figure around about 30 million mark from Everton.
Well, I mean, you can't knock that back for Souček.
Absolutely not, mate. And that's why you got to look at it. Yes, he's been loyal to us. He's been a stalwart in that respect. But at some point, all players move on.
See, that's a great point from Damien, though.
What's that?
Well, you're going to barely be able to replace Souček for less than 50 million. For what you get from Souček.
I think that's this is the one. Wan-Bissaka with this one, but
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Even if you say you've got to spend 50 million to replace him, okay. So you get 30 million off of Souček. So now your 50 million player is 20 million, right? How old's your 20 million player? Is he 22, 23 or something like that? And you sign him for a 7 or an 8 year deal and one thing or another. Now you've got now that's like we've signed Souček for 20 million, get however many years service out of him, sell him for 30 million. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all of a sudden that deal, if you get your 30 million off of Souček, suddenly you got 20 million for a 20-something-year-old that's going to be either at your club for a long time and get service out of, or you're going to sell on for a big money. Kind of weighs out, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's a nice balance in that respect.
I suppose when you put it that way, Jeff.
Or keep a 30-year-old something. Where's the future in that? That's the keep Souček, but you still got the question of what after Souček, because he's not. There's a limited shelf life from there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, totally agree on that. Just go back on Damon saying Wan-Bissaka is happy. Trosh says he also wanted to come back to London, which is true. So let's hope the case. But the comment of the night is obviously from usual. If Liverpool want Wan-Bissaka, then it's 60 million plus my car stereo and hubcaps back. Brilliant. That last bit will never happen, usual, Brendan's saying.
Your hubcaps are already in Poland, son.
Let me just start Brendan's comment before we carry on, because what we're going to do now, it's coming up to an hour and a half, and let's bring it into. We mentioned that we were going to bring this kid in for Green Street Elites, and this evening it's going to be this gentleman. So let's have your comments after this.
Stuart Slater.
Tricky
Well,
little winger.
as you can see from that last image that was up before the end of the little video there, I had good fortune of bumping into him outside the London Stadium one night. Also in that picture is Frank McAvenny, but I cut him out for the purposes of that video. But yeah, that was when we beat Chelsea 3-1, was it? A couple of seasons back at home, 3 seasons ago. 3-2, sorry, 3-2. Masuaku wonder goal.
Masuaku, yeah, Jesus.
I met them after that game now, and yeah, that was quite something. And then
was that his miss-hit cross?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Masuaku wonder goal. Come on, it weren't a miss-hit cross. He meant that.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. But
Yeah. Oh, King Arthur. We love King Arthur.
Big up to Ross as well.
Yeah, so I bumped into Slates, and then a couple of weeks later, for the next home game, I was coming out of the shopping centre, whatever it's called. Can never bloody remember it. What's that?
Westfield.
Yeah, I was coming out of there, and as I was going out, Slates was walking in, and he went, "Oh, hello, Budgie. He remembered my name and everything." So for me, love the man to bits. What an absolute legend. Love him.
He was a great player as well.
But he was, yeah, and you know, I liked the fact that he was a tenacious little sod. You know, if he lost the ball, he would go balls out to get it back, wouldn't he? You know.
But when you question Somerville and say, "Oh, he's a bit small and all one thing and another, is he strong enough?" And then we're talking about like Stuart Slater, who's not the biggest player in the world, but I mean, he was
5'9" though. He was 5'9".
Tenacious little player though. Well, he always looked small to me.
Yeah. But then I always think Bowen was small. He's like 5'10".
But anyway, but he was a tenacious, hard-tackling little. I love Slater.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember his trademark with the run and that was always that with his tongue sticking out of his mouth. It's wonder he never lost it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate. I remember I went to, who was it that we were playing? It was one of the last games I actually went to before my long sabbatical.
Big up views.
I can't remember who it was now. Was it West Brom? I think it might have been West Brom or Wolves or Stoke or somebody like that. It was one of the northern teams, you know, not another London rival. And Slater was, I think he got a knock on his ankle. He was getting a bit of treatment on the sidelines. He was getting really frustrated with the physios and that. Fucking let me get back on there. And eventually, like, they got the ref's attention. The ref let him come back on. It was about a minute and a half he was off the pitch for. And he came running back onto the pitch, ran straight into space. I can't remember who delivered the ball to him. But he then just went head down, straight at the defence, and set up a goal literally within 20 seconds of coming on after this knock to his ankle, with a beautiful little run, lovely cheeky little nutmeg through the legs of one of the defenders, popped the ball across. I think it was McAvenny that finished it, actually, if I'm honest. But what a great player. I mean, he always had time for us lot after the game and before the game. He's still got time for us lot, you know, after his retirement and that. Wonderful guy. Absolutely loved him.
No, you know, you always felt excited when he was on the ball and that, and he was when he's pressing and he was pushing the opposition, and you didn't know where he was going to tell me because he's so silky with the ball as well when he was moving. You always remember that. But I was quite surprised when you look at the goal stats there and that, considering you thought there was more out of him. You know,
but that's only 11 league goals.
Yeah, but you think there's always you think there's always more goals from Slater because obviously what he created all the time. You know, there's always that possibility.
Have they got assist records for that?
No, that's what I was about to say. There's no
don't have
records
them,
for
do they?
assists.
Yeah, it's
And
a
I
shame,
would
innit?
imagine his assists probably doubled. Would be double what his goals were, because he was always on the end of an assist back then. But I mean, like, one of the things I love about Slater is that now we do this Green Street Elites for a reason, Tom, don't we? We like to put the spotlight on players that aren't so often spoken about. Now, I know that Stuart Slater's quite a popular character around West Ham at the moment, because he is an ambassador for the club. But apart from that, if you were to talk to 80% of football fans around the country or around the world that know their shit, that know their football, and you ask them to name a West Ham side from that period, most of them probably won't remember Stuart Slater's name. Because he was never your Tony Cottee or your Frank McAvenny or whatever. As West Ham fans, we know him, we loved him, we revere him.
I was gutted when he left.
Oh, so was I.
Yeah.
And he had quite a long and distinguished transfer record after that, after he left us. But, he's not one of the players that would generally get the spotlight in the world of football out there, like your Sky Sports and BT Sport and all that. They would never probably highlight guys like Stuart Slater, which is why we like to do what we're doing. We like people to remember players that have meant something to us as fans.
Yeah, I agree on that.
We did George Paris a few weeks back under your suggestion, I believe, Tone.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten all about George Paris, completely forgotten about him. Didn't even remember that he existed until you mentioned his name. And then, like, slowly and surely, little memories came back. And then when I did that little bit of research for the intro video, that's when things started coming back.
Yeah, it's nice to
and
kind of
I found myself falling back in love with those older generation players again. Like, I find myself keen to sort of do my little bits of research because it sparks memories that are really near and dear.
I say, for me, going with the George one, the reason why because I remember being at the ground, at that game where he the ball's up the other end of the pitch and that, and he was just watching it, and next minute he just collapsed on the floor, and that's the reason why I remember George Parrish mainly for that reason alone. But but he had one of those, those kind of the face, like, as they say, the face you take home to your mother kind of thing. Because it's like, he'll put a smile on anyone's face, and that's what George did for you in that. Before we carry on a little bit more, Stuart, I love this comment here from AFC always. Big up to yourself and also to big up to Views on Sport as well. He says, because obviously Views is asking to go on the channel. He says, appreciate it, bro. If I did come on your channel, I won't show my face until Arsenal win a Premier League title or a Champions League. Well, that's a long time coming then, AFC always. That's all I'm saying. Dear me.
Excellent.
They're also again saying hello to Mama and congratulations on Newcastle winning the
Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
So, do you got any strong memories of Slater, Jeff?
Me, one thing I think Tony touched on it earlier. He said he was an exciting player, and he was one of those that when the ball came to Slater, you were up off your seat. You were on if you had one. But you were on your toes, right, on the terraces, because you're leaning forward because that anticipation was there. And he was one of those players that brought that. I mean, he was exciting to watch, I think.
He was.
Took players on, didn't he? So that's what we like. He used to... That's what we moan about now, isn't it? Like, oh, it's always safe. Oh, no one wants to take anyone. He wasn't frightened. He went and took players on, and that's usually he lost it. He went and won it back, didn't he?
Exactly that. Yeah,
he was quite skillful with his feet as well. He wasn't one of these.
Oh, he went past people, didn't he? That's it.
Yeah,
he was tricky. He was a tricky little winger. Yeah, I love watching him.
But something like that, Jeff, is a fact of, as you said, because he did look, even though Budge said he's 5'9", he didn't look 5'9" on the pitch. But the fact that he would actually win a ball back and then carry on that, that's a great talent.
Yeah.
Budge, obviously, when you made the comment about Ancelotti, obviously, of course, great pick with the chat. Eros, pass that joint over here, Budgie. He needs to go to Arsenal and get rid of Tapas Pulis views. He's saying there. You were saying, Budgie, them glue fumes are no good for you.
Oh, mate.
Top good. He didn't want Ancelotti because he didn't do nothing with Everton. These idiots don't realise that he got Everton finished above us in the league. That's it. And he did with Arsenal. That's right. Howard saying, even Liz is concerned about Budgie. Brilliant. Gotta love these guys. Frank says, I believe Arsenal got it wrong when they got Arteta and Ancelotti went to Everton. It would have been the other way around. We've won 2 leagues by now. Yeah. Let's just catch up with some of the chat because there's some comments I've starred. We will go on there. Just seen Saudi planning to buy Kudos as well. Apparently, Damien's saying.
Oh.
Views to take Kane there. Good evening to Arsenal Manic as well. He's just found 2 facts about your club that surprised me. So enlighten us if you're still with us. Be interested to see those what they are. Yeah,
Damien was on the right track. He said, Eze. That was the boy I wanted.
Yeah, that's the thing. We need to concentrate.
If we get good money for Kudus, right, that's what we should be aiming for. Okay, I appreciate, that you buy a diamond in the rough, you know what I mean, and then you polish it up and you get, a great player out of it. The Declan Rice story kind of thing. But, I think that if we're going to be competitive, if we want to start producing the goods on the pitch, we need to start off with a marquee signing this summer. And that marquee signing needs to be central midfielder or a striker, in my opinion.
Yeah, the 2 main areas we need.
A marquee signing, if not both, please.
Well, yeah, because again, it's building the spine of the team. That's what you need to get there. Yeah. Trosh saying Kane wouldn't sign for Arsenal. Surely he is an Arsenal fan. He's always alluded to that. So who knows? Stranger things have happened. Do a Sol Campbell, possibly.
That would be a hard one, wouldn't it?
Oh, you imagine that though.
I'd love it though. I would love it.
All them Spurs
I'd even cheer for Arsenal.
They wouldn't know what to do with themselves, would they?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Oh,
they'd be beside themselves.
Just sit back, Jeff, with the popcorn and watch it happen.
I tell you, that's a nasty one, though, isn't it? Imagine Kane going to Arsenal.
Yep, and look, Howard says, that would be a proper kick in the bollocks, especially if the Arsenal actually won something with him.
Oh, you imagine that? Oh,
I really think we would have had him. Yeah, God. Dad's saying Kane going to Arsenal. Tottenham fans will love it. Yeah, I love Antonio. Yeah, good. And Arsenal is putting here the 2 facts: a modern stadium with the 2nd largest capacity in the Premier League, massive potential with new ownership. We know that one. And secondly, is your former pornographer who sponsors you Love Honey and Babe Station? Well, don't forget Sullivan and Gold. That's their business. It is the porn industry. It is the porn industry.
It is indeed. The Dildo Brothers, as we lovingly call them.
Oh.
You respect Chutney Market was when he was a lad. Stuart Slate, I think they're talking about. Chutney Market. Views of Sports saying hit the like and subscribe if you're new. Thank you very much, sir. And obviously, don't forget, go and see Views channel as well and give him a bit of love as well. Could see him at a menu if they unload Rashford. Imagine that. Ball was French, no. Haller. No, he was German. He's German. Well, Haller. As do I. Do you think Mateta could be the new Antonio? I mean, wow. He's a lump, isn't he, Mateta?
How much would Palace want for him, do you think?
Cool.
75, 80.
Yeah, they'll ask for silly money, wouldn't they?
Yeah, 75, 80. Money. I mean, listen, right, Mateta, come to West Ham, I wouldn't care what it cost because I think he's good enough to make that central midfield region work better.
Mm.
I think he's got,
He's a striker, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but what I'm saying
is he attacking midfielder? Is he more of an attacking midfielder?
Is he?
Thought
Yeah, I
they're
think
using
he's
him as their number 9, isn't they?
Well, not surprised the size of him, Jeff. Bloody hell.
Yeah,
I mean, they might as well stick you up top, mate, the size of you as well. So
Well, the thing is, he's another one that.
Good evening to
he's a
City
lot better.
Curse.
You see him, and you just thought, oh, he ain't going. Like, is he going to make it? Has he got enough? And now, doesn't seem many question marks about it. He's adjusted to that league. He's done whatever he has to do, and he's being successful, isn't he?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
The Millwall boy nearly took his head off, didn't he? The goalkeeper nearly took his head.
Yeah, the Millwall keeper. Yeah, he had like 23 stitches in his ear. Yeah.
And the fucking Millwall fans cheered him for doing it.
That's about right, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say that, Jeff. You took the words out of my mouth. Terence says you can't dislodge Antonio. Ball's too big. Passion and pride in the shirt. He's one of them players with loyalty front and at a different age. And he wants to get back, doesn't he? I mean,
I want him back.
I mean, they're talking about the if they're going to look to go to redo the contract kind of thing. It's not going to be an easy ask, is it? He's going to want a couple of more years.
Who's this, Tony?
Antonio.
Antonio.
Oh yeah, right.
He's going to want a couple of more years to be with us and that. But are we going to go down that road?
Don't know.
Well, I probably ain't got a very popular view, but we often say we're too sentimental and we've made so many mistakes keeping players that we shouldn't have kept on and all this, that and the other. And now, by the way, it's terrible what happened to Antonio and all of that. But, I mean, I do think we're really in danger of being exactly what we criticise West Ham for as a fan base, being a little bit sentimental by giving him. We've been trying to replace. I'd say earlier, we've been trying to replace him for 4 years. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and now all of a sudden, was he 34 or something?
Yep.
We're going to give him another couple of years. I think it's incredible, his recovery and all that. By the way,
he's put the work rate in, Jeff, hasn't he?
On a separate note, and if there was any way he could make an appearance before the end of the season and let it be his sort of last hurrah thing, I think that would be a beautiful thing. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely agree on that.
But yeah, I don't know about a contract. But as I say, it might not be a popular view, but I think we are in danger of being a bit sentimental.
Yeah. There is that. I agree on that. And I agree on Frankie's comment here as well. When West Ham are on it, all you need is a striker who's box savvy on their toes. West Ham is a great club for an out-and-out number 9 to be. Yeah, totally agree on that, and appreciate that, Frankie. Obsidian saying demands 60 million for them. Yeah, definitely that. And they're saying like Freddie Potts. Don't sound like Suchek. Hope he doesn't go. It's going to be one of those. I mean, AFC always here. This sums it up in a nutshell, really. Liverpool fans getting upset over Trent leaving. Imagine how we felt when Fabregas, Hleb, Adebayor, Henry, Van Persie, etc. But guess what? Those Arsenal players didn't win all the trophies like what Trent has. This is the truth. Yes. Big up to our good old friend Aaron. Aaron talks football. Bit late, no worries. Lateness is greatness, as they say. Hope you well, mate. And make sure we look after Aaron as well. Give him a share, like, and subscribe. Budgie with air. Fuck me. Look, what's how's it going, gents? All good, mate. Hope the same for you as well, Aaron. Yeah, and everything's good from our point of view. Yeah, good call there. Everyone's saying like with each other. Five 5'7"? No, I think he's 5'9". Oh, yeah, we thought he was a little bit smaller than that. Fair play to you, Aaron, for doing that. Then shattered from yesterday, bro. 5 streams, 11 hours. Well done, sir. Well done for doing that.
I know what that was like doing them with bloody Peach.
Oh, yeah.
8-hour streams and that regularly.
Working on, man. Keep going. It'll pay off. Absolutely, it will do in these views. Turner saying, big apologies to my son for my non-PC gob the other day. He's going places. I love the short ass skit. Terence, all good for dear father, as he says. Love that. Frank saying Tony Cottee, Maradona, Messi, all good things come in small packages. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, absolutely, Howard. Yeah, got to put it in the grafter. He's saying that. Leon saying Lanzini was a small guy too. Didn't hinder him though. A West Ham hero.
Mate, for me, one of the best tacticians with a ball I've ever seen. I
Very
loved
technical
Lanzini.
player, wasn't he? Brilliant.
I'm a proper fanboy of his, you know. I loved him. I thought he was great. You know, I thought technically he was one of the best players I'd ever seen at West Ham. You know, you got, with the exception of Payet, and you know, but you know, technically, I don't think we've had a player that's as technically as gifted as Lanzini in a long, long time.
Yeah, it's a magnificent
really quality player. I was actually really gutted when he went back to Argentina.
So was he.
Yeah, I
Was
think
he?
so as well. Yeah.
Which I think tells a real story. You know, you get players, we talk about them, you know, that connect with the club or that we love. And players we love don't automatically love the club or love the fans back, right?
Yeah,
But some of them do. Some of you have that connection. And Lanzini was one of those players, right?
Yeah,
he loved West Ham. See, like Jared Bowen. I genuinely believe Jared Bowen loves West Ham, right?
Yeah.
We talked about Declan Rice, who's an Arsenal player now, but he loves West Ham, right? I don't think there's any question about it. Lanzini loved West Ham, and he was sorry to leave.
Yeah.
And we were sorry to see him go. No, you know, but we just take to some players like another one, right?
Pablo, I'm still gutted that he's gone.
He took to the football club. We took to him. You know, sometimes Lanzini, I just put in that mould. I might be misjudging the wider fan base, but that's how I feel. I put him in that kind of company.
In that bracket, yeah. I agree on that, Jeff.
You've got a majority vote here, Jeff.
Yeah. I mean, too, said about it with Aaron. Thank you, Sam. I'm grateful for my grandson. I put a cushion under your seat so you can see me, but my apologies. He's always said he's a short ass. Yeah, keep doing the work. The arty draggy one. So I got off from the Beastie Boys. Mark Ward. Yeah, he was a good player as well. Mark Ward.
Fantastic. He took that photograph with me and Stuart Slater in. Me, Stuart Slater.
Mark Ward, he was a little pit bull, wasn't he? God.
He was.
Yeah.
Hard as nails, the fella.
Oh.
Yeah, remember that. Yeah. Get stuck in.
Didn't he have a tear up one time in the tunnel with somebody?
Well, probably, yeah. He had a few
Norwich
tear ups.
I was going to say, yeah.
I think it was at Norwich or somewhere. He had a proper tear up in the tunnel with someone.
Just had a look in the wrong way. I bet he'll have you.
You know.
Good evening, Sean. Good to see you. Fucking late again, for fuck's sake. No worries, sir.
That's
you're here.
Sean.
That's the main thing. Good to see you as well. Appreciate you being with us. Terence saying, Budgie, did you ever drink with Tony Bowers, who had the Peacock Gym with his brother?
No. I've never been in a gym in my life. Well, not a gym as you would call a gym. I used to do martial arts, so I was in dojos all the time.
Nice. Brendan's saying, marquee signing. We missed out on 10 Alexander Arnold.
Marquee. I see what you did there, Brendan.
Yeah. Oh, I thought
you can always rely on Toho and Usual to come up with a couple of little gems, can't you?
Brendan, I'm ready for you as well, mate. Adam was French, but play for Ivory Coast. My bad, sir. That's the case. My gloves are off, Ton.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Hang on. There was a comment in there from Sean from Freshfielder saying that Haller, was the German Haller, was the first one to open the 66 World Cup scoring. Yeah.
To open what? Sorry.
He was the first. He scored the opening goal of the 66 World Cup final.
Ian R saying here, thanks for the Slater section, guys. He's one of those players that caught my imagination as a youngster. Had a mesmerising game and goal under the UP floodlights at Everton. So the Upton Park Floods versus Everton in a cup quarter final. Magic, he was different, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Ian, seeing as you like that section so much, just a suggestion who you'd like us to cover next week.
Absolutely.
We'll give it to you this week, Ian.
That's a nice touch. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us a suggestion, Ian.
I would say, come on, people, give Togs an hand. He's here all week. Frankie's saying West Ham need an English midfielder who pulls it all together, rolls up his sleeve and galvanised. Yeah, definitely need that.
We just sold him to Arsenal, so we can't do that.
I mean, I
love Ian's answer, by the way. I don't know if you've seen that.
I'll kind of come to that. I'm going to come to that. I mean, Frankie, if you look at that, the player that galvanises your team together, and that's Odegaard, isn't it? Surely it must be Odegaard. Thank you, Harold. Yeah, he's a genius at work. Look at that. Oh, clapping their hands. Brilliant. Britta saying, oh, look, I'm getting a happy ending on the chat. You can feel the love. You can feel the love, Tom.
That's it, mate.
Frog say, yeah, YouTube chat audiences are a tough bunch. No, we've got a lovely bunch of people in here. Absolutely lovely bunch. AFC Always is asking to the panel, who is your favourite West Ham player, past and present, and why?
And quickly, before we answer that, Ian has put his answer in the chat. It's Tim Breaker.
Yeah, I saw
great,
that.
Great shout.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant shout.
Right. I got myself a new notepad, so I don't have to keep messaging you, Tone, saying, who did we choose?
I reckon our current players probably might not all be the same, but I'd imagine it's replicated. But the past players might be a little bit different from us. I'm not sure. Present for me would be Bowen, and past as Trevor Brooking is like my boyhood hero. So most of that team are my boyhood heroes. But if I had to pick one,
I'd
probably put Trevor Brooking there.
I think for me, the obvious would be Bobby Moore, but the not so obvious, but one of my favourite players to watch, and I don't care what shirt he was wearing either. But he very often wore claret and blue for a long time. Martin Peters. One of my favourite all-time players. Loved him.
I only ever saw Bobby Moore play for Fulham, so I didn't think I could count.
He wrote, Martin Peters wrote the book on being a number 8 for me. He typifies what a number 8 should and shouldn't do. Go on, who's yours, son?
For me, for the past player, would be Billy Bonds.
Yeah.
Because for Bondsy and that, for Bondsy and
that, can't argue with any of them, really.
With that, it's the fact of the career he had here at West Ham. The amount of games that he played for the club.
And the amount of unbeaten games he had as a manager when he first came to the club.
And that's the thing. And there was that loyalty side of things, which is a
21 games these days. Unbeaten.
Something like that.
If we sum up those choices, right, you've got Trevor Brooking, who scored in the cup final, right, the winner. Billy Bonds, who lifted that trophy.
Yeah.
And then yours, Bobby Moore, who lifted the trophy and the World Cup.
Yeah. I did say, which game?
Martin Peters.
Martin Peters, who also scored in the World Cup final. So, I mean, all three of our choices are really great shouts, in fact. And I didn't give you my present one.
Okay.
I only gave you Martin Peters. I think for me, present has to be. Does it have to be present as in this year, or can it be
near enough? I suppose near enough. Near enough.
Yeah. Mate, it's got to be Lanzini for me. I know he's gone now, but I think
he's not present. He's past. He's gone.
Yeah, I suppose he is.
He's not even.
You're so harsh, Jeff. You're so harsh.
I know. All right, okay then, Jared Bowen.
I suppose if you're going to put it like that, I mean, obviously, present player. We've already spoke about him and that, and it's just the fact of he does it with a smile on his face sometimes when he does score and that, and it's Souček. At the end of the day, he's, when you look at it, he's been very loyal and that sort of things. For recently present, I'll word it that way so I don't have Jeff kind of breathing down the back of my neck.
Cool.
in that respects, it'll be Rice, because as much as he came from Chelsea, he adopted into the West Ham way, and
he became our club captain.
he showed that maturity. It's the maturity for me, Budge, more than anything else. It's which is a rare quality in a player.
Another great shout. Another great shout. I mean, like, I love Aaron Wan-Bissaka at the moment, but for me, he hasn't had the longevity in the shirt that Bowen's had, and I think that in the 5 years that we've had Bowen at the club, I think he's improved massively as a player, as a person. I think the club has done the right thing by appointing him captaincy.
Yeah.
I was dubious at first, but I think he's growing into the role as we all suggested that he might.
Well, I said to you, I think for me, because yes, he didn't grow into it straight away, and it was a weird choice for my.
But he's still growing into it, I mean,
well, the game that changed it for him wasn't under West Ham; it was when he scored that
the
goal.
England goal.
It's the England game, and it made him grow from that point onwards, and that's the thing.
I agree.
Great shout from Frankie as well, though. Sometimes Prem clubs can be snobbish. There's some great players playing in the lower leagues. Look at Rodgers at Villa.
What a player he is, by the way.
God, that's the one you would snap up and all.
Just got his England debut the other day, didn't he?
That's the problem,
Jeff. Buy them off of Villa. We need to be
finding players. Yes.
Finding the Liam Delap that's at Hull for
like we used
17 million quid or whatever it is.
Can I just say, we actually have done that in recent years, and that was my current player, Jared Bowen. We found a championship player that was doing all right.
Yeah,
under the right guidance from David Moyes, and let's be honest, it was. He introduced him to the game very, gradually but cleverly.
Very true.
And we've produced a player that a lot of the Premier League teams would literally snap your hand off.
Totally agree on that.
Cool.
While you got your notepad out, Budge, there's some names down here for you. Look, obviously they've got Paolo Di Canio there.
He is a reasonably obvious one, but
look, Brendan saying, Frank, we picked up Cressy, Anthony Bowen from lower divisions. Frankie, so you're right, absolutely. Terence said, sorry lads, it's not sentimental, it's loyalty. You could inspire and also motivate the lines of Noble. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I will say this. We said earlier about the benefits of having experienced players and what they can bring to the dressing room, other than what they necessarily bring on the pitch when they're not always playing. So if Terence is suggesting that it's worth keeping Antonio just to have that, whether he gets much game time or not, just to have that role, have the influence in the dressing room, give the benefit of his experience onto perhaps younger players, I absolutely understand the benefits of that. Regards to the loyalty thing, I mean, he wanted to leave not that long ago. He was willing to not be too loyal to West Ham. He was going to try and angle for a move, and then he settled himself down and knuckled back down, and now he's back under the fold. So the thing is with loyalty, I mean, there ain't very much of it in football. And
these days.
Someone put in the chat, I think when we did our show the other day, I can't remember who it was, right? But I'm sure you remember, when we talk about loyalty in football, I think it's fair to say we've actually probably got quite a lot of it at West Ham, because someone put down that Fred Cresswell has been at the club for 10 years. Antonio's been there for 8 or 9 years, wherever it is, right? Souček's been there 6 or 7 years. Fabianski's been there 7 or 8 years. Souček's been 6 or 7 years. Goufal's coming up for 5 years. 5 years, yeah. So, no, we're not saying that's a lot, but in terms of like modern football, actually, that is quite. And we've had the likes of Noble, one club man, which is just so rare. There are a few out there, right? But it's just not. It's not a normal thing anymore.
Nah, not anymore.
I think we can just say there is a degree of loyalty being displayed between players and the club, perhaps more so than there are some other football clubs. So we shouldn't just dismiss it. We say there's no loyalty in football. Talking about that, we go back to Kudus. If Kudus, let's say Kudus wanted to leave, and someone came into with an offer, but they just didn't want to accept it, wasn't quite enough, and said, "No, you're staying." Do you think he would just say, "Oh, right, okay, well, we'll see what happens if January someone comes in and offers enough money, and I'll put my head down and really put myself to the grindstone and show everyone what I'm about"? Or do you think he'd be a bit, "Oh, I'm going to sulk a bit, might down tools a little bit. I'm really not happy that you didn't let me go"? I don't know. I'm not sure I know the answer to it, but I'd just be interested what everyone's feelings are. I'm not sure if he might be a bit sulky, but I could be wrong.
We're seeing it now, though, Jeff. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I
We're
think
seeing it now. I've alluded to many times. He definitely didn't like playing under Lopetegui, for one.
Yeah.
And it was the Spurs game when he got himself sent off. That was just, for me, that was down to pure frustration of where this bloke was running the club.
Agreed.
And that was his way out. But since then, apart from the odd game and that, and obviously the other one where he put himself in the shop window in front of Arsenal, other than that, he holds the ball too long. He either kind of he loses the ball. He doesn't track back for it like he used to. You only see glimpses. So he's already shown that
decision making is relatively clumsy, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm even talking about if he becomes he could become quite disruptive, perhaps.
It
not
could
just
be,
not I'm not performing or whatever, but actually could be a disruptive influence. And that's not, we don't want that around the
You
football
don't want
club,
that. I think you'll probably see that in the dressing room,
and there'd be a danger of that, I think.
I think that there's probably that already, I'd say.
Whereas Paqueta, I mean, maybe, but he had his move to City was sort of scuppered, not especially by West Ham, just by circumstances and one thing or another. But it doesn't seem to be overly throw his toys at that. It is what it is, and he's taking it in stride. And he's still, end of the hearing, gets cleared. He may still leave the football club, and then if West Ham stand in his way, maybe we'll see a bit more toys out the pram. But he hasn't, and he's actually looked a bit smile on his face recently. If you think of all the pressure he's been under on the football pitch, is probably quite a good release for him.
Yeah, I agree on that. But yeah, if you're not too careful on that, a player can disrupt things, and then all of a sudden it can become quite toxic if you're not too careful. But
I don't see that in Kudus, though. To be fair, I don't see Kudus as being a disruptive influence.
No.
I think that it may not be the player, Budge, but I think what the problem you'll find is his teammates, because unfortunately in certain games it's clear and obvious the way he is. And then what you're going to find there, instead of before where they would pass the ball to him or play the ball in front of him to run on there, now you can see there's certain points where it's like, well, why should I try and play the ball into him and that, because I know what he's going to do with it. So there is that, it's not massive, but you can see there's a little bit of that in there. So it makes you wonder what could happen. We'll see.
He only ever came as a stepping stone for him, right? He didn't come because he loved West Ham and he wants to be here, and that's his for his career.
Well, I don't know.
We had European football, and I get to the Premier League, I showcase my talents, and somebody comes get me in whatever timescale. Oh.
Yeah, but don't forget, in this, Arsenal went for him, and that I was going to pay more than what we paid for him.
Okay.
They were going to pay more. I think it was in 40, 45 minutes. No, I think it was even more than that.
Brighton were on the verge of signing him as well.
And then we came in with the price we did, and that. And
in fact, I thought we nipped him off of Brighton because Brighton weren't quite prepared to give him something or other.
Yeah, Arsenal.
I can't remember what it was now.
Arsenal were just being Arsenal, and for some reason didn't get it over the line. But then I think you just said it a minute ago, though, Jeff. When you think the last summer window, clubs had till the 1st of July to activate the sell-on, the release clause, and no one came in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was active in the first 12
Yeah, it
months
was.
or something, was
Yeah,
it?
it was.
Mm.
Yeah.
Was it?
So they had until the
Every
1st of July.
window.
Clubs had to come in for the first. They had until the 1st of July to activate the release clause. No one came in.
I thought it was. I thought that's like it wasn't for the first window, so it would have been activated.
No, it was
after
a
that.
limited window for the first transfer window. It was only
Okay,
a
all right.
5 or 7 day window or something, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah, something silly.
Something like that. It was a short window, and nobody came in for him. And subsequently, after that window shut, nobody came in for him. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of money, right?
Player
Oh,
in some-
absolutely. There's some great names here. It is a lot of money, and it's a wonder. You got to think that point he was still playing okay. So why no one came in for him at that point as well? Did they see the signs that we did at the time? Who knows? It'd be nice. There's some couple of questions I've started, and that we'll come back to these. But I'm just going to catch up the chat. You said about Tim Breaker.
While you catch up with the chat, I'm going to replenish my.
No problems at all there with Coin. Yeah. Martin Allen.
Great name. Great name.
One of the questions here was from Trosh is which West Ham players have won Hammer of the Year 4 times?
Hang on. Martin Allen, I've got to put in here first.
Yeah, so they put in Martin Allen.
I nearly forgot it, and we ain't even ended the show yet.
I know. Trevor, because don't forget, Michael Blees said last week doing some, 60s, 70s, 80s up till present, and then starting all over, which was a good shout.
Trevor, who won Hammer of the Year 4 times?
I think he's trying to say no. Trevor won it 5 times, so it wasn't. Billy and Bobby. Then, yeah, definitely agree on that. Frank is saying, fellas, Odegaard ain't a captain that I'd like to be in the trenches with. Frankie, I agree on that. He ain't captain material. There's no two ways about it. Charles, Dick S'mores and Bonds, he thinks, is that?
Okay.
Race. King of penalties. 100%, Frankie. Yeah, 100%.
He was, wasn't he? Let's put him down.
I love Cotty as a young lad. Then later ones, Trevor Sinclair, DeCanio, yeah, some great ones.
Oh, Cotty, McAvenny and Cotty. Whoa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Already.
AFC's always saying Trevor Brooklyn scored against us in the FA Cup final. Yeah, and AFC, I love putting that picture in the background when Jez is on. It really kind of.
I still think he was trying to get out of the way of it, though.
Oh yeah, of course he did, mate. It's one of those, yeah. If you come off your left bollock and win into the goal, and that you'll take that all day long, Jeff. You know that?
Yeah, for sure.
Ian saying Brooklyn was just a bit of before my time, but of course I've watched footage. Possibly the most graceful player you'll ever see. Totally agree on that comment.
What a way to describe him. He truly was graceful.
Yeah. And as he says here, it looked like he danced across the atrocious pitches of the 70s.
Yeah.
He certainly did. He certainly did.
Yeah, Billy Bonds, what a player. Alvin Martin, yeah. Other more gifted players, but Bobby Moore is the essence of West Ham United for me. Totally agree on that, Frog.
Forgive me, Tyler, going all league gunner.
Fresh. Ray Stewart Fee was a world record for a teenager. Parks was a record free for a keeper for not too long before. Yeah, that's
Phil
true.
Parks, that's this Boyer team. Oh, yeah, what a goalkeeper he was. Brilliant.
Howard said, Ian Bishop, when I first started following West Ham, DeCanio, Bowen, some great players in there. Damien saying, present player Kudus. Frank, Alan Devonshire, we've done him as well. He was a great player.
We did him.
He's going to make us switch, Damien is saying. George says, didn't Marsh, Morley and Bishop all join at the same time? I think Morley and Bishop was at the same time. I think Marsh was either just before or just after, wasn't he?
Mike Marsh came from Liverpool, didn't he?
Oh, really? Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah. So I think there's just.
Don Hutchinson playing that team as well, didn't he?
Yes,
he did indeed. Yes, yeah. Well, he was another one, wasn't he?
Don Arch.
Rice was too young to be captain. I don't know, mate. I think he had
done a decent enough job, but he did have Mark Noble in the background helping him along.
And what a captain Mark Noble was, and what an example he set. And
you're never going to get a more devoted and deserving captain than Mark Noble, in my opinion.
no, but what a person! What a person to mould you for your captaincy.
Oh yeah. If you were
really, do you know what I mean? What a leader, an example to have.
Yeah,
a great mentor. That's the person you have.
Yeah. And it's like we've been saying about Ollie Scholes as well. He's got a great mentor in Creswell.
Yeah, definitely.
Emerson,
and Emerson as well. Yeah, I mean,
and Emerson too, who's won every European title available to a player.
Fresh to say, Morning Bishop came this way.
Burrows, I forgot about him. David Burrows.
David Burrows as well. Yeah, I mean, Leon, this is one as well. Love the games. Big Marlon Harewood and Dean Ashton. Dean Ashton.
We've done Big Marlon.
Have you done Leroy?
Oh, it's Rossini, yeah? Yeah, cool. That's a good shout. Put him down on the list as well.
Who was the one? Who was that? David? Who was it?
David Burrows.
David Burrows, and also you got Leroy Rossini.
Leroy.
You could put just a show on for David Kelly, the amount of misses he had.
He got some stick, didn't he, David Kelly?
See, that was another one. We talked about like Haller and Skamaka. You remember him, for Leicester, banging in goals for fun. Though. Yeah, when he did, yeah. But but for Leicester, he scored for fun for Leicester.
I've got a Green Street elite that might upset a few people in the audience in the chat room.
Oh,
Ian Wright.
What are you going to say, Liam Brady or something?
No, Ian Wright.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Ian Wright. Okay, yeah. I was on the right line, though.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, look, David saying that Bowen was a steal. Always trust a lefty. Yeah, definitely. I miss it usual. Yeah,
it's funny with Bowen because when we signed him, I was on holiday and I bumped into some Hull fans and I was chatting to them. I said, "What do you think of Bowen and all that?" And they said, "Yeah, no, he's good. He is good. He's really important for us, but I don't know if he's a Premier League player." And they weren't sure. They weren't convinced. And it did take Bowen a little while, and he has definitely grown into the player he is today. But wow, what a player he's turned into! Yeah. What a player he is!
Absolutely. Yeah, trying to agree on that one as well, Frank. Yeah, like Arsenal fans still believing in the clown of a manager. Trust me, our fans are embarrassing. Yeah, well, he does say it comes out with some great comments. Good evening to Joan as well. Hopefully we'll sign Rig from Sunderland, one for the near future. Yeah, agree on that one as well. As long as we pay the right money for him. Left-footed right wingers, most valuable profile in the game. That and a centre forward. Yes, agree on that one. Present is kudos for Daz. Left-footed right wingers, most valuable for. Yep. So you see that twice, Damien. But yeah, I mean left-footed right wingers. Versatile. Love that. Put me either side of the pitch, doesn't matter. Budgie said it was all about the loyalty. Definitely, Joan. Definitely.
Thank you.
I found out his middle name earlier when I looked at the lineup with it. Tufal. Well, funny for saying about Tufal. Did you see that message? I think it was on social media that Kufal put, and it was kind of venting his frustration because obviously he could have moved to Fulham, and it never happened, and he went off on a tangent. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, Jeff. It's like where you're either looking to get more money, or it's a case of you're a little bit disgruntled because you're not getting game time there.
I saw a couple. I don't think I've seen the interview or whatever, but I saw couple of videos that a couple of channels have done, and I must admit I learned some stuff that I didn't know about. I think there's two sides to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think from the player's point of view, and he's not the highest paid player, he's been an integral part of the first team for a while, a number of years, right?
Yeah.
And he's on money all of us could only ever dream of, but in the environment he's in, he's not especially highly paid. He's kind of swallowed that and bumped along, and he was hoping for another deal, wasn't he? When Souček got one, didn't get one.
Yeah.
Then I found out about this. He had the chance to move on the final day. I heard he was in the dressing room looking at messages from his agent because he was a bit like, fucking ring me and all this type, get hold of me now type thing.
Jesus,
and obviously they were going to offer him, reportedly, they were going to offer him more money and a longer deal, and he could stay in London and he's not move his kids out of school and one thing. So from the player's perspective, right, I guess you could see why he would want that move. It would be better for him personally. But from the club's perspective, even if they're going to let him go in the summer and not attract a fee for him or one fee or another, they kind of like couldn't afford to let him go, could they, at that time? So I could sort of see it from both sides, and if he's sounding off a bit, whatever, okay. But do you know what? I don't really. I'm not that bothered about it. I don't feel particularly strongly for or against the player, and I don't think the club's really done anything wrong. I think they should have rewarded him, and I think others have said it on other channels, should have rewarded him better before now, and I tend to agree with that. I think they could have, but they're running a business, and if they can not give Soufal an extra 20 grand a week so that they can give it to Danny Ings or someone instead, however they do their sums. Can't work it out, can we?
Yeah, ridiculous, isn't it?
Mate, what's your take on it, Budgie, yourself?
What, the Soufal thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the club have treated him rather unfairly. Been a loyal servant. Okay, he's not Roberto Carlos, but he ain't Roberto either. I think he's been a great servant for the club, and we should have let Fulham have him when they wanted him, because it would have been better for him and his career. I don't like to see players being stifled on the bench. I mean, look, when Grealish left Villa and went to City, it was really frustrating that I couldn't vent all my frustration out on Grealish because he weren't being played.
Absolutely.
I mean, to me, he was always he was always my frustration vent, I mean, get up, you puff, and all that sort of shit, I used to love shouting at him because he was easy target. And then he went to City and didn't get a game. And I thought to myself, well, actually, that's fucking unfair on Grealish, because although he is a source of one of my frustrations in that he's one of these, I call them woke players that fall over when you look at them. Even though I felt that he was, trying to play for a dead ball rather than play a moving ball, it was just frustrating that he never got his game time. Right, he's getting it now,
I wasn't laughing at you, Budgie. I was just laughing. Laughing at Frankie's comment.
Yeah. I think it was this one first. Yeah, Marsh Burrows deal connected to the Julian Dix joining Liverpool. I think it was that one. Yeah, right, Budgie. Yeah, come on. Hayes had a match for summer, and Alan Devonshire turned up along with a few names. I spoke to him for a while, and he remembered my granddad who cleaned up after the match. Loved him for that. Players then didn't forget things. That's the thing. Kufo is the one player I would love to get a goal. I think they should give him a penalty kick. Yeah, I think I mean, we said it earlier on. Things move on, and
training now.
When you look at, I suppose like everything else, when you get a downturn in the way you play, and it could be because of fitness, it could be psychological, mental issue kind of thing. Kufo went off the ball, and of course that's why they addressed it and got Wan-Bissaka in.
Yeah.
But
Father Time's starting to catch up with him a little bit as well, right?
There is that as well, Jeff. But I think it's like one of these. I mean, like, I experienced it many times. I had many conversations when someone else comes in and just got that little bit of extra edge, or what they do, they go the effort. It's like, well, I know he's the first teamer. I'm going to make sure I'm the first teamer. So they push themselves to get recognised. And unfortunately, with some players, it can have the negative effects. And you've got to look at it from that side as well. It's the fact of Kufel's kind of thrown his toys out the pram because it's a case of, well, I was number one, now I'm not. Well, that means you've got to push yourself harder. Competition is what it's all about, You don't
Kind
just
of like Antonio did for a short while.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. It's not 11 players in a squad. You've got 25 players, and each one wants to start the first.
Yeah, absolutely. All players want to start, right?
Absolutely,
and play 90 minutes. No one wants to go off, do they?
Well, you see that, can't you? When the players come off and they get the raving up, but
nature of footballers, right?
But you've got to push yourself to be there still, kind of thing. But yeah, as you said, nature, time catches up on all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong. Again, he's another one. He's bled claret and blue for the club, and that you can't knock that side of things.
No way.
But as you know, the old adage, mate, no one is bigger than the club, and the club's got to look at longevity and moving on from that point onwards. And that, and unfortunately, we've already said it, not just on this particular one. We've said it on many shows. A player's footballing career is a short career.
Mm.
And that's
he's going to get a move in the summer, and he's going to get a signing on fee, and he's going to get paid whatever he negotiate, whatever he is for his way. So he's going to be all right. He's going to be okay.
That's when you're in bitching like nobody's business when he gets to the new club. It'd be one of those, wouldn't it? Definitely that goal. He was so naked, he passed out in our box, and the ball hit him on the nut. But fair play to the. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah. Fresh is saying that Green Street Elites, if you get mad, dog, ask him about the Wallace Arnold River story. I'll have to look at that one. Frank is saying, for fuck's sake, Leroy was senior, FA Cup here at Highbury, he scored a late winner. No, we don't recall that at all, Frankie. I don't know why you're bringing that up. But we remind Jez next time we see him anyway, just to kind of put the sweetener on the cherry. Frog saying, as crap as we've been the past couple of seasons, 3 wins out of 5 against Arsenal eases the pain. Simple pleasures keep the Hammer believing. Yeah.
The thing is, with Frog's comment there, I think that kind of epitomises like what being a West Ham fan is, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It is true, mate. It is true.
It is sometimes. We don't expect to necessarily be winning the league or qualifying for the Champions, much as we might like to, and maybe never say never. Maybe we could, but that's not necessarily what our expectation is. But the little victories, the things that put the smiles on your face, right?
Absolutely.
And 3 out of 5 via Arsenal. That's the kind of stat that puts a smile on your face, right?
Yeah. I mean, we did much.
Sorry to the Arsenal fans. Sorry, not sorry.
Little victories like drawing 3-3 to Tottenham when they've gone 3-0 up in the first 15 minutes of the game.
You're on your Lanzini loving again, aren't you?
I am, right?
What a goal that was!
Oh, wasn't it? God. What I mean, look. Aside from the fact that, I'm a bit of a fucking fanboy and all this, that and the other, I mean, that Paolo Di Canio's goal at, where was it? Wimbledon. That volley kick thing.
Yeah.
The Andy Carroll overhead kick.
Yeah, what a goal that is.
Quiet free kick against Palace, was it? And, and Skamaka's goal in the European competition when
I've got one here. I'm waiting for you to say it.
When the ball was lobbed over the top, and he thought he was offside, and he lobbed it over the keeper, didn't he? And he just looked. That for me epitomises like West Ham football because, are we going to get given that or not? Kind of thing, and I think another player that's really Trevor Brooking, you know, I mean, like, you have to acknowledge the fact that guy put so much on the table for this club, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on, who was you thinking of, Jeff?
West Ham, isn't he? He's just West Ham.
Cool. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's the rare qualities these days. Very, you know, very ultra.
Who were you thinking of then, Jeff?
Oh, when you were reeling off the goals that were wonderful goals, I was waiting for the Sinclair overhead kick.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was brilliant as well. That was brilliant.
He said the Andy Carroll overhead kick and this. I was thinking, he's going to. Sinclair's coming in there in a minute.
Yeah, I probably would have done if I'd have stayed on that vein of thought. You know.
You were saying here, look, Lampard Senior will be screaming here in the FA Cup semi-final replay at Ellen Road. Yeah, what a good one that was.
Yeah, and then he's danced around the fucking
the corner flag, wasn't it?
You remember when Junior did it?
Yeah, brilliant. You know, credit to the two Czech boys. I hear they encouraged a noticeable change in the dressing room attitude when they arrived. Great attention to the detail and effort in training. And yeah, I mean, look, we can't deny that they've been brilliant for us. You know, they've both done well. Good evening to you, Michael Blaze. Good to see you in here. Big up everyone. Biggest crime West Ham did to Kufau was pay him a poor wage. Otherwise, he's been treated well.
I agree. I think they should have rewarded him better in today's environment. I thoroughly agree with that.
50 quid a week's fuck all these days, is it? That's basically what they're giving him compared to...
I mean, they could have given him 50 grand a week and probably not sniffed at it, right? And he'd probably be happy, right? Anyway, it's what it is.
So one of these kind of things come up on the phone here, and it just shows you this. And if it's going to be the case, let's take it. Al Nassr are preparing an £84 million bid for Mohamed Kudus. 84 million? Take it.
Yeah, take it. £84 million?
Yep. Take it.
Mate, we'll take that and we'll even give you a £5 back for your petrol.
Frog Jones saying, Frog, we'll never stop supporting our club or whatever happens. That's always been the case. Even when we was Yo-Yo Club being relegated, we still packed out Upton Park.
Yeah.
The only way we could fuck that deal up, right, is if we said 84 million, but you've got to go and find Usual's fucking stereo and car hubcaps, right? Seal the deal, right? And then
it'd be one of those,
Good evening, Stephanie.
Big up to Stephanie as well. Big up Tony and guest legends. And as always, setting records. We did it at Highbury and Emirates, last at Highbury and the first at the Emirates. And was the first to beat the years at their new ground.
And it's right, stuff like that is just like, silly little satisfying things, right?
Mate, I mean, Jeff, I use it all the time. I mean, a majority of the players I've had have always been like Arsenal fans, and they go, "Oh, Gaff, who do you support then?" I say, "Well, let me give you a clue because I know most of the boys were Arsenal. For last team to beat you, Highbury, and first team to beat you, at the Emirates. Oh, you're fucking West Ham, ain't you?"
Yeah, because it's nailed into their fucking memories as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, what was even better, they had this brand new stadium, and there's all these outlines of all these cups they won. I said, it must be nice you moved into this new stadium and that, and you go up to all these years, and then suddenly it's blank, 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 blank. It was too easy. Just too easy. Jones saying Lanzini was my favourite.
Tottenham in their new stadium as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we give them a layer of dust to help them out with the rest of the dust that's on the shelf. Jared saying Lanzini was
go along
favourite.
with all the it goes along with all the old West Ham scarves and that are buried in the concrete.
Yeah, you see the pictures of that. That's brilliant, Budgie. I miss him in his prime. He was a class act. Yeah, Lanzini was.
Yeah, we've been reminiscing about him this evening, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, if Happy was in here now, kind of thing.
And dude, that's it. The chat would be spammed out, wouldn't it?
Yeah. We'll be flooded. We'll be flooded at this stage.
I think I'm a fanboy. Wait till she gets going.
Fresh is saying Pirates free kicks against Palace, Manure, Bournemouth. Take your pick. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But see, I mean, the sad thing about that is the fact of again, and you see it many times with not just us, there's many other clubs where a player comes in, resurrects his career. I mean, the other one we could say is Lingard, and then suddenly wants to move on. And it goes back to what we were saying, loyalty, not there.
Yeah, we spoke about Lingard the other night. It's just a terrible shame. He had the best 6 months of his career at West Ham. I think he had a great opportunity. We loved him. The players seemed to love him. He seemed to be having a nice time here. And then he turned his nose up, and then his career's just gone nowhere again. And he's spent. It just seems really odd.
What I
It seems
find
a
funny
terrible
about
waste.
all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I find funny about all of that, though, while he was a Man United player, I always used to think he was an obnoxious little prick. The moment he pulled on a claret and blue shirt, he was my best mate. You know what I mean? All of a sudden. And then, like, when he did what he did, kind of justified my disloyal approach, if you like. You know what I mean? But I thought he was a self-centered little dick when he was at Man United. And
I think it's sort of proven to be true, though, isn't it? Really, I think actually he's a talent that's tail is of. He's had a good living out of it, but he's had a bit of a wasted career in a way.
Well,
Ravel Morrison.
Except he seemed to get a lot of England caps without playing a lot of fucking football. Never quite could work that out, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, Budgie just nailed it on there. There's a great shout he just said there was obviously Ravel Morrison, and the other one, the other one you've got to look at. He could have had, could have gone on to bigger and better things, even though he had a very good career with them, and that's Dele Alli.
Yeah.
Another
and
one that's kind of
before that. The one that really had the potential to be a world beater but preferred the bottle, Paul Gascoigne.
And we had our own, like Reece Oxford. He promised so much, and then just faded into nothingness. Really, right?
Yeah. I think that's the problem sometimes when you do over hyperplay. I mean, like who remembers what was his name there? Oh bloody hell, name's gone from the tip of the tongue. Charlton lad.
Oh yeah.
From when?
What was his name?
God, I know exactly who you mean.
What era, Tony?
Dark-haired lad, shortish.
No, he's a black fella.
Oh.
I think that'll be the 80s, late 80s,
the
early
striker
90s.
you're talking about.
The striker, yeah. Oh, what was his name?
Mark Bright. Bright.
No. Oh, bloody hell. Now, this kid was touted to be the next best thing. The problem was Cole Eburn.
Okay. I know
Eburn, that's his name. Basically, he got so overcoached, it ruined him. Absolutely ruined him. Yeah, Cole Eburn, that's the kid. I mean, great shout out from Frankie going on this one. He goes, I was watching something the other day on Sky, and Defoe was so Spurs driven, he never mentioned West Ham. I find him very muggy, and a lot of players who have jumped ship to join that mob. Now, you've got to remember, we, again, another one, come from Charlton, come to us, turned him what he is, and then he didn't like Roda. And he
didn't like getting relegated.
Well, he didn't like Roda. And I know that because one of my players bumped into him at the faces night.
I'm not disputing that, but he definitely didn't like getting relegated.
Oh, no, of course.
When the transfer request went in, right?
No, it was all to do with Roda. He made it quite clear to one of my players. And
okay, cool. Well, said, you definitely know more about it than me.
He was saying, why are you keep getting yourself sent off? He goes, don't mind me asking this question, but why you keep getting sent off? He goes, I fucking hate Roda.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
And this is my way out of the club. Yeah. That's my way out of the club. And, when you look at something like that, I mean, in certain respects, as much as he did,
he's a bit of a little prick, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you can give him credit for is what he did at Sunderland with the what's the name?
Bradley Lowry.
That's the
Lowry.
Yeah, what he did with that kid.
I don't completely hate. Like, I've had all the Judas. I'm sort of over it. Like I did have do you know where we abuse returning players and one thing?
Yeah.
Judas figures. I absolutely had my Judas figure moment with Defoe and all that, but I'm kind of long over it. But I can still say he's a little prick without being just because he left West Ham. I wasn't happy about that. I wasn't happy the way he did it. Wasn't happy when he came back. I don't think he helped himself over the years. I think he was a bit more contrite about it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And move on from that. but I still think he's a little bit of a little prick, right? You know.
Yeah.
Probably don't feel that way about Lampard, right? So, you know, I think some of the abuse to Lampard was a little bit over the top, actually, right?
There is that to it, because I think if you look at it in that one, you could see that, as I say, blood is thicker than water. Because at the end of the day, in that he was supporting his old man and his uncle. So, and you can't knock that in that respects.
And I think we turned Frank Jr. against West Ham rather than whatever happened, and then he was against West. I think actually he took it because he left and he's going to get it, but it was like never ending for him. And I think in the end, I think it wore a bit thin with him. I don't really know. I don't know the man. I've got no. It's just my perception, but I think it.
Great player, but as a manager, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's smashing it at Coventry at the moment.
We criticised him for not scoring enough goals and all of that. And then he went away and like smashed all the fucking records for scoring goals, right? So
because scoring midfielder in Premier League history.
But you know why though? Because that's how he's always was. Because you know that kid, even when training finished, he stayed out there for 2 more hours than anyone else, and that still smashing ball. So as you go back, what he did. Exactly, and don't get me wrong.
His dad and his uncle.
Well, no, because Frank Senior said you earn your stripes. Just because you got my name, don't mean you got the given right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Junior felt like he had to do all of that.
Of course,
prove to his dad and to prove to the fans that were saying you only got your shot because of your dad and your uncle.
Yeah, and I think it was a bit unfair that, like, it's only because your dad and your uncle and you ain't fucking good enough. Well, I'll tell you what, we just talked about it. Bloke went off and fucking went around the Premier League. He can throw his trophies on the floor. After us telling him he's not scoring enough goals, he could say, "I've scored enough fucking goals now for you."
Absolutely.
Right? So
that's why you
answer it. Gone
out
and like there's no way you can this guy has proved to himself at the top level. He's won everything, and you know, he's like.
Well, it's what I said earlier, Jeff. You know, what I said, Jeff. You know, like the Kufel situation, you either push yourself or you throw your toys at the pram, one or the other. You know what I mean? Great shout from Frog. Yeah, you always win a winner when you support West Ham. Trophies are
struggling to keep a straight face. I see how it's going.
I'm coming up to that one. Alan Devonshire was Stephanie's favourite Emma. Brilliant. Mr. Al Nasser, Leon. Al Nasser, apparently. Yeah, absolutely does. 85 million, take it. Snap their hand off. Do you not think players like Kufel need to be moved on? Yeah, totally. I mean, like, you know, no one's bigger than the club. And as much as they're good stalwarts and stuff like that, certain players know when it's time, and certain players know when it's just a case of I'll still take a wage.
This guy's been a brilliant servant to the football club because 5 million quid, right? He's coming to the end of his contract and he's 32 or something.
Yeah,
it's all okay, and it's just normal conclusion to something. I think.
You know, for well, Jeff, you in a job and that, there's going to come a point when they're going to tell him, say, like, you know, you've done your dues, and that's the retirement age. Go and enjoy yourself there.
I definitely ain't knocking him, though. I think he's been brilliant for the football club, and in modern terms, he's cost fuck all, has he?
Exactly that. That's small pence, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, Liam. Yeah, we were the first team to beat Arsenal at the Emirates, and I'm first to beat the Spuds at theirs. Happy days. We'll have that. Field for the future reference.
I think we've been very fortunate or very clever with the cheaper players that we've bought. I mean, you look at Dawson, look at Wan-Bissaka, look at Sufal.
These got it the wrong way round, though, isn't he?
And Jared Bowen as well. Yeah. And Jared Bowen as well. I mean, what do we pay for him? 16, 17, 18 million for Bowen? Something like that, wasn't it?
Even Souček's worth every penny of his 20 million we paid for him, right?
Yeah, definitely.
For the service he's given to the football club, right? But yeah, it's the 45 million and get 15 back that's the problem.
Yeah.
Which is always that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. That's what I said earlier about, you know, getting that money we did for Rice and that. It's a bad bloody time.
Well, it is about time. I agree with that.
The amount of players
we lost money on Philippe Anderson as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, 42 million.
We got about 3 million quid for him
as well. We paid 40 something or 50 for him, wasn't it?
42 million. 42 million we paid for him.
Yeah. And I think
42
we sold
million
him for about 26.
Yeah, £2.50 out the pocket wage. Yeah, that was it.
Do you know what though? See that Anderson, for me, he's got a bit of Agard about him, right? Because he's not a bad footballer. He's a good footballer, right? And he, for me, showed at times he had everything to be a Premier League footballer if he wanted to, right?
That's lazy.
And I think he went, yeah, but it's a bit hard work every week, innit? I don't know if I fucking fancy this, right? And he's gone off and he's played his football in an easier league and he's shone and he's thoroughly enjoying himself. Thank you very much. And like I said, I think Agard's got a bit of that about him as well, if I'm honest.
I think you're right there, Jeff. I think players that come sometimes from foreign countries and that think they don't realise it's hard work here.
It's not that they're not good enough, right?
No, not at all.
Do they want to have to apply themselves like that?
It's the fact that it's more fast paced. There's more kind of closing down on players. There's more chance of getting injuries because someone's going to come crunching into you and they're not used to that.
Demand from the players.
Yeah, absolutely, Budge.
You can almost apply like a comparison to amateur football, if you like. Like I could play 2 leagues above, yeah, but fucking that's hard work. But if I play in this league, I could stroll around and I'm the best player on the pitch, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's some players even at the top level have got a bit of. Look at Letitia, right? Right. I mean, what a fantastic footballer he was, right? But he he was quite happy at Southampton. He was like big fish in a small pond. He was quite happy there, and he could have. Come on, he had the ability to just, he could have played for anyone, right? If he was up for leaving Southampton, he could have gone anywhere. But he would have had to apply himself a little bit different, wouldn't he, if he did that? And he went, no, you're all right. Do you know what?
Yeah,
I quite like it here. I quite like my life here. Yeah.
And there's not many players that think like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing.
So, I mean, that's just my thoughts on it. And people might be saying, no,
because
it's just what I think sometimes.
It's like I saw it when when I was doing semi-pro. We had a kid. He came to join us. He was an ex-Arsenal apprentice. Got kicked out. Basically they weren't going to give him a contract and this and the other. And of course, at that age, it's a hard thing to take. And he came to us, and you think yourself, okay, right. Well, you can see why he's been rejected. And then for 1 second, he'll flick that switch on and you can see what could have been. But no, as soon as he's done it, he'll switch it back off again.
Yeah.
And
players like that are so frustrating, though, aren't they? Because you just think, oh God, but you just.
Yeah. There was a young lad like that in the Crawley League, right? When I was younger, and he was so good. But then there were games where he just didn't bother turning up. I mean, he was there, but he had his boots on his feet, but he didn't.
Yeah, his mind was elsewhere. Yeah, his mind was elsewhere. Yeah. That's the thing.
He was so good, though, right? I mean, he was about 7 or 8 years younger than me, but this kid was so good when he was on the ball, and all of a sudden he disappeared, and I was quite shocked because he was not the first name on the team sheet, but he always managed to get a start because he was that good. And all of a sudden, we heard, no, he's gone. He's gone to go and sign for West Ham. I'm like, hey, Scott Minto.
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah.
No, Scott Minto. Scott Mean. Scott Mean. Not Scott Minto. Scott Mean. And he didn't really do an awful lot of West Ham because his work rate was never good enough. So
yeah, sometimes the face fits at the right time.
In fact, that's the name I'm going to put in the book.
Another one. Look, Michael, please say then Pike moved on due to his wife finding out he was having an affair. He's been caught out again by her, at least at his latest club. Also, I think that's probably why Marseille released him, and he was crying his eyes out. Frankie saying, as an Arsenal fan, I would move on Martinelli, Trossard, Partey, Jorginho. Yeah, I think Partey's moving on anyway. Trossard don't want to sign a new contract. Martinelli and Jorginho, yeah, they can jog on. Agree on that one. Lingard's now talking about becoming an actor. Fucking hell. An actor. Jesus wept. Whatever next. Well, he's been a good actor. He was acting the Egypt after he left us. Definitely agree on that one. Ian said, I do think if Pyatt had stayed a couple more seasons, he could have been held in the same esteem as the likes of Paolo Di Canio, a wonderful player. Very true. Frank is saying, any goal versus Spurs is a great goal. Definitely agree on that. Leroy Senior. Pyatt was a fantastic player with a horrible backstage attitude. Definitely agree on that, Liam. Yeah, and Daz agree on that as well. Frank is saying, London clubs are who they are, but can't average them. Have the mob down the road and the Huns from the bridge, muggy old ground with a car park and a chairman that put up electric fencing. Yeah, well, it's just, I mean, Fuzzy did it a couple of weeks back, Todd Bowley, and he's ticket touting that he's doing and the amount of money he's made from that.
Oh, I see something about this. Yeah.
It just showed. I just see it on TV. It's showing him. What was it? I think it was a Liverpool game where you could. It was cost you £6,000 for a seat.
This is through his platform that he's on.
Yeah, he's
and they reckon it's like a bit dodgy, don't they? Or something. He's getting a load of flack for it, isn't he?
Yeah, because basically he's creaming all this money off and stuff. And I've just seen a thing here, and it's about Harry Redknapp. Talking about Tuchel and the England thing and that, but it looks like he's doing a Nazi salute at the same time.
Tuchel?
No, Harry Redknapp.
Harry Redknapp.
Oh dear me.
3 hours, but
yeah,
he didn't go full Elon, did he? And
I can't read the small print from me, unfortunately, but yeah, all I can see is the headline. Yeah, Leon said, I bet you we'll beat Everton in the new stadium next season. It's written in the stars. Let's hope so. Yeah, Joe's saying Lampard Senior was class. Ian says Lampard deserves respect. An all-time Premier League great. Shouldn't think he cares what we think of him. I think he's got bigger shoulders than that. Have time for Everton as well. Proper clubs, definitely.
I think it did sting a bit when we were on him for a while, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up.
I get that. Fresh is saying here, Slaven Bilic interview reckons Pyatt had the piss ripped out of him by the French squad at Euros for not playing for a top team. Ends up back at Marseille, for fuck's sake. What a waste. Could have been a legend. Yeah, definitely agree on that. Frankie saying, for fuck's sake, you're killing me with the Arsenal memories. Oh, yes. I would see this question. What the fuck has happened to Rooney? Has he eaten Colleen? Yeah, he's
floated out, hasn't he?
Definitely put some timber on, that's for sure. Well,
I see a picture. I thought it was one of them effects that they put on. Because he is like unbelievable. He's like Mr. Blobby, isn't he?
Oh, no.
Well, we just said about Lingard. He's going to be going into acting and that. Apparently, Rooney is as well. So when they do the new Ghostbusters film and that, he's going to put one of them Stay Puft Marshmallow outfits on.
I thought he was going to say they were going to be Laurel and Hardy or something.
No. He just put one of them Stay Puft outfits on and that. He looked like the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. He's just, he's virtually there. Des is saying, smash the lights, guys. Thank you very much, Des. Big up to Anthony Herbert as well. Big up, lads. Budgie, you crashing into my tractor when it was parked. Well, it's a fucking write-off now.
Well, can't help it, mate. Should have got yourself a Lamborghini one instead of a John Deere.
Yes, very true. But yeah. Till just saying the phone. We can't use the word blunt, but I'm not that nasty that I will pee on him if he was on fire. Yeah, absolutely. Howard saying, good evening, Anthony. I thought I saw a pygmy goat tied to a Hillman imp in the car park. Last ever way to win at Ivory 2 as well. Yeah, definitely said that. Even Herbie, I hope you're all good side. Yeah. Scotty Parker as well. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Cole Eburn. Yeah. Yeah, just overplayed. Overcoached and definitely gone. Michael Bleed saying 5 years for 5 million, good value. He's come to the end of his career, I'm afraid. Just hope he plays the last game and we get a pen for him to try and score. Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? The nice way of sending him off.
Yeah.
Frog saying, so basically, if we only play games at the new stadiums, our last games at old ones, we could be champions. I have a cunning plan. Yeah, Frog for the night is just going to be Baldrick. That comment, brilliant, absolutely superb. Jones saying they're good. Just wanted to play for Morocco. He has no life to us. Yeah, I mean, another one came over for the pound and pence. Leo said, and the other Czech guy we lost money on, can't remember his name. The dude from Everton we got from a Russian club, lost millions on him too. Well, no, that was his. Looked like Sideshow Bob as well.
Crow.
Alex Crow.
Crow, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one, isn't it?
The one with the hair.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever actually quite had enough, though.
No, I mean,
I do get that he was badly treated and ostracised by Moyes and one thing or another. I don't think that was right.
Well, that tells you
I'm not sure if he had enough, though.
No, I think as a side note. The problem was it's similar to like when you look at Fulkrug and that does well in the Euros and that we thought, oh yeah, we'll have him because of that because he's done so well, and then the manager didn't want him, so we know it wasn't
fair play to him. He did get a goal while he was wearing the shirt.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. And Fabianski ran the entire length of the pitch to congratulate him, so that tells you something about the man.
Absolutely, great.
He must have been a decent enough lad. You know, for Fabianski to do that to a lone player.
True, very true.
You know,
Howard saying it goes. I might start a series of oil painters, Anthony. Each run a car park scene. Oh, the pygmies and all this stuff. That'd be great. Yeah, great shout. The humanity, the Sunderland kid. Yeah, absolutely, it was. Yeah, sounds like a dogged series. Howard Brendan saying. Letiz was superb. I loved him. Yeah, he was a great player, Joan. Can't disagree on that.
Of his era, but I mean, what a player in his era. Magnificent.
I would say he'll call it Anthony's favourite dogging spots. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Frog saying, Howard, I like it. Sign them Constable, perhaps. Yes. Frank saying, do you feel Harry Redknapp bangs on more about Spurs than you lot? No, I mean, look, I think Harry's very coy in what he says. I mean, sometimes he'll mention Spurs there. He'll always have a fondness for West Ham and stuff like that as well. But yeah, at the same point, you know, he's also.
And he loves Bournemouth, right?
Yeah, cool.
He really genuinely loves Bournemouth.
I've never seen Harry Redknapp do a Tottenham YouTube interview or anything.
No.
But I've seen him do 3 different West Ham ones.
Very true, mate. I agree on that.
3 different YouTube channels, that is.
So that just shows you straight away. Des is asking you, Budgie, how long have you known Kieran?
Since lockdown.
Nice.
First couple of weeks of lockdown, me and him were just in the chat on a West Ham network thing, and Russ asked people to call in or to click the link and come and give you opinions, and basically pointed Kieran out, pointed me out. We both came on. We got on really well. Peach loved the dynamic between us, asked us to come on to West Ham Random, and then that was it. We built up our relationship from there. We've only ever actually met in the flesh once. So,
nice.
But I feel like I've known him all my life, you know.
Yeah, it's nice. And you can see that, you know, there's a good relationship there, and you know.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I thought you like long-term, way back friends. Like,
a lot of people do think that.
No,
Jeff,
because you have that persona about you together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's like we've known each other all our lives, but we just haven't really, you know.
No, it's good. It is good. But as you know, I mean, like, you know, in the short period of time we've all known each other, and that, you know, it's brilliant how we've kind of developed as a group as well, which is great. And as always, you know, we can't fault it with, you know, the great people we've got in the chat with us as well. because it feels like the conversation is with them as well. You know what I mean?
It is. It's
you and I have
contributions from the
really
chat are so important. I hope everyone in the chat actually realizes that it's what makes all of the interaction. Otherwise, kind of half of it's what the point. We'd just be having a phone call, wouldn't we? Otherwise, wouldn't we?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It's cool, wouldn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Frog said, I can't get my head around how people can translate a 3D image onto a 2D surface with paint pens, etc. Like magic. Yeah, some great skill when you see some of them. Michael Blaze just telling you, Budgie Littler just beat Humphreys 6-1 in the Premier League on the darts. Nice stuff. Nice. Was that the final?
Littler tonight came up and in his first 6 starts were in a treble 20. On for the 9 dart, and then his next dart was on the top of the wire. He still scored 97 or something. I think that visit, and that was against Steve Bunting, and he absolutely smashed him 6-0. He was incredible. I saw that. It's been in the background here, but I haven't been watching it.
Did you see his final the other night against Van Gerwen?
No, I didn't know.
Oh, he hit a 9-darter in it. Fucking brilliant.
I mean, for his age and that, I mean, he's exceptional talent, isn't he? There's no two ways about it.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Zavon Hines, another
player. Yeah, I'll say that. That's another one, yeah. Zavon Hines.
I had a shot at a 156 out shot last night, Budgie, and I hit 122.
Oh.
Well, yeah, just inside between the wire, the double 1 and the double 18. So close.
Yeah, not bad, Jeff. Fair play to you on that one.
Yeah, don't happen that often, Tony. That's why it's so disappointing when you get a chance and you miss.
I hit 2 180s in one day. I know that sounds really weird when you find Luke Littler hitting them every other fucking shot, but I ain't that good. The other day, a couple of Saturdays ago, we were playing in the local pub, and I hit 2 180s against the 2 guys that there were 3 of us. We were just winner stays on, and then I played this guy Shep, beat him with a 180 and then 100, and anyway, and then checked out, and then Mark, my other mate, he's a Brighton fan, came up. My first 3 darts were a 180.
Nice.
He was like, fucking hell, what am I up against here?
Brilliant.
And then the next 3 darts, 7.
Yeah, that's what happens, though, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. You get too confident in yourself, don't you? That's the problem.
You get a good visit like that, and the next one's always bad.
Yeah.
Frankie's going here. I look at the results, but always West Ham will spin me nut. You go 5 games being beaten, turn up to our ground and school us. Then Newcastle play us, come up to Trump's a week later. You do me hacker up. That's the West Ham way for you, Frankie.
Frankie, listen, from a West Ham fan to you, right? Don't ever bet on West Ham.
No.
I've lost more money at betting against West Ham, or betting on West Ham, than I have anything else.
Brilliant. Tempted to say, my new bit of fluff just took Toby, the legendary gay bulldog, for a Spurs. She claims he's abnormal and farts worse than Loppy's defence. Look, Frog said it. Yeah, Frankie, tell me about it. I've been trying to work West Ham's format for over 60 years and still none of the fucking advisor. Superb. Frankie saying Letiz has been cancelled on TV for telling his truth. It's liberty. Yeah, this is the problem, you know.
Do you know what? I sort of know that he's not on there, but I don't really know. I've had my head in the sand about that, really. I know it's probably been out there for ages. What is that all about? Why was he cancelled?
Well, I think it's, you've seen it with adverts and all this kind of stuff, all about equality and all this kind of thing, or equity as they call it now these days. Yeah, EDNI basically, as they class it as.
Yeah.
All to do with that, basically.
And he sort of spoke out against that, and he's been sort of cancelled in the media world, has he?
Yeah. Because, because there's always, you say something, and it's a case of like as Frankie said there, for telling the truth. You say something with a bit of how it is, which a lot of people can relate to, and it's like, oh no, you can't be like that.
All right, okay.
Probably that, I'd say.
And did he say anything particularly outrageous or offensive?
He said Gary Glitter was a good singer.
Well, he deserves to be cancelled for that. No one wants to be in his fucking gang, do they?
And Fred West was a really good builder, apparently.
Great at doing patios.
Patios, flooring, you name it, he did it. Leo's saying, that's the thing, Frog. Our form has changed every week for the last 60 years. Yeah. Howard saying tonight has been a real peach-a-thon. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Howard is also saying Kieran is a funny fuck. Yeah, gotta love Kieran.
He is.
Absolutely love it.
There's no filter between his head and his mouth.
That's lovely.
None whatsoever.
You got to say that. I mean, look, Frankie's saying it's a shame we are getting priced out of the game we love. Yeah. Well,
that is true.
The only thing we can say, which is a good thing, at least our club has turned around and basically reduced, got to shut that bloody concessions business.
Yeah, they've done a U-turn on the concession cancellation.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is great news. Doesn't mean to say that it's going to be cheap, though.
It is good, and relatively speaking, we have got sometimes, at least, cheap tickets for the Premier League. But it doesn't make for a cheap day out, does it?
No.
By the time you've travelled and been to the game and gone through all the processes, it's not a cheap.
It's very different for guys like us, Jeff, because we don't live in the immediate area.
Yeah.
So therefore we've got to consider our travel and our food and drink for the day, and and then travelling home. So not only is it like expensive, but it's also time consuming and tiring.
Yeah, I'm out for a long time when I go to football.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, right, Jeff? If you're going to a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday, right?
Yeah.
You have to leave your house about what, 10:30?
Yeah. If I want to get a pint before the game, definitely.
Yeah, you get to London, you want to be in the pub, so you get to the pub for about 1:30, and then you're in the pub, you go to the game, you might go back to the pub for a couple of beers after the game, and then you got to travel home. Well, it's 11 o'clock by the time you get home, 11, 12 o'clock.
It is, and what's awkward here...
It makes a 14-hour day sometimes.
Which is like only a small problem, right? Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
For me to drive to get to the train station, right, the bus that stops outside my house misses the fucking train that takes me to Ashford, right?
Oh, that's right.
But not by very much. So I have to wait about 45, 50 minutes, to get the next train.
Bloody hell.
To get in, to have a 15, 20-minute change, right? Ashford's quick into Stratford.
Yeah.
No problem there. But I either have to drive into the station, which means I have to make sure that I'm in a fit state to drive when I get off the train at the other end.
Yeah.
Or I have to coordinate the buses that don't coordinate very well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
By the way, this is a small first world problem. Don't get me wrong, but it's like you say, it's now there's another hour that I have to leave earlier, right? Or compromise, do or don't I have a drink? Well, do you know, I want to go out, I want to have a nice time, have a drink up and a bit of crack and all that. It's not the same experience.
That's a bit harsh, isn't it? Bit of crack. Bloody hell.
Got to have a bit of crack at the football, wouldn't you?
Budgie, tomorrow I'll get an email and that show's been cancelled. Old man's using crack on the show.
Yeah. Sorry,
just to clarify, it's the Irish cracks, not the manufactured one.
Brilliant. But no, you're right what you're saying. I mean, I can only go by because I know Budgie's already said it. Sometimes it's like an hour and a half before he gets somewhere. And I remember Jez talking about when he went to one game to the Emirates. I think he took his grandkid with him, and it was over £200. He said it cost him a glass of wine was like 12 quid.
Yeah.
I haven't gone this year. I've kind of like.
I only went to one game.
And amongst all the calls for boycotts and one thing or another by various channels and social medias and one thing or another, I kind of just conducted my own private little boycott anyway, right? I wasn't happy about this concessions thing. I nearly folded. I nearly folded for the Ipswich game, right? Because it was kids for £1, I think, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And the grandkids were down, and I thought, do you know what, though? Kids for £1, I'll take them, right?
Yeah,
We'll all go. We'll have a nice day out. Like, it's lovely. I say it's lovely, but you know what I mean. It's lovely for us to introduce the next generation and take them and give them some experiences that we had. So in that way, it's lovely, right?
Yeah.
So I got onto the site, logged it all on. £15 each they wanted for the kids, and I'm like, this is supposed to be kids for £1.
Yeah.
And you're charging me £15, and I thought, I know what they've done. They've sold all the allocation, and now these are relisted tickets, so they're selling them for £15, right? But I thought I was like, do you know what? I've already got the ump with you, right? And I'm kind of breaking a promise to myself by going to this game, but because of that reason, I was gonna. And now it's £15 each. I thought, no, fuck you, I ain't going, right?
Yeah,
and I've stuck, but I know they've backtracked on the concessions and that, but. I don't know. It's March now. It's nearly April. I can probably just like do my season boycott and feel all right about myself.
Exactly.
And if they offer me a season ticket next year, I'll probably buy one. Right? That's the sad thing about it.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do, isn't it? That's what we do, basically. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah. Dad's saying, I think Harry Redknapp was a hammer deep down. Yeah, I mean, don't stay at the system, is it? Frankie's saying, fellas, my dad stopped watching, going to when we left Highbury, as he felt he was uncomfortable because he would swear and tell his truth. I remember calling him Perry Groves a useless ginger head.
Perry Groves.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sean saying Fred West was a good builder. Mussolini got the trains to run on time, and Kim Jong too was a good golfer. Definitely. Yeah. Absolutely. Frog saying Glitter scored a role in a West End musical. Kiddie Fiddler on the Kiddie Fiddler on the roof.
Oh, it's going really downhill now, isn't it?
Oh dear.
So we've been on for nearly 3 1/4 hours.
Yeah, nearly. Yeah. Frankie said, I remember writing to Jimmy Savile. Thank God he never fixed it for me.
Yeah, no one's bragging about them badges anymore, are they?
That's for sure. Sean saying, Frog, I thought he was in Miss Saigon. Frankie saying, it the likes people, this has been a great show. Yeah, I mean, like, carried on from Budgie and Kieran's show last night, and we're doing exactly the same here and there. Michael Blees is saying, back in the 80s, 2 for a fiver through them turnstiles. Tendencies were always wrong. Yes.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Frog's also saying, Adolf studied to be a monk when he was younger. Talk about a change of career. Yes, that's very true. Frankie's also saying the Peanut Man Highbury 80s. Well, we had our own one as well.
We had our own peanut.
He had the old winkle pickers at the old level jacket with the old metal studs all around it, kind of thing in there.
Yeah.
Had a few strands of hair on the top of his head. Mostly had hair coming down past his shoulders. Peanuts. And they fucking lobbed the fucking full belt from yeah. Give me shoes though, Jeff. He had a fucking decent throw at him because he didn't get up to that target.
Yeah, he used to get
what
right.
Money he made, I don't know because I don't remember people throwing money back at him, but Tim just saying, was Peter Sutcliffe a victim of a woman's lib?
Oh.
And on that note, we've got one last question coming in, and it was
no, sorry, that was sick. Go
on. Stephen says, Budgie, what was your first game? Mine was in 1965. My dad took me when I was 3.
Okay, similar story. It was a year later, and I was 4. So you're the same age as me, Steve.
Luck, Brendan.
My first game was November the 11th, 1966. Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst, Martin Peters all walked out as World Cup winners. We beat, I think it was 2-1. I'm pretty sure it was 2-1. Don't really remember a lot about it. I was 4 years old. But I remember being really scared and running up to my mum for a cuddle when the trio walked out and the crowd went completely nuts. You can imagine World Cup winners. I mean, it happened to them every time they walked out onto the pitch, regardless of what stadium it was at, what ground it was at.
Yeah, nice.
Any of the World Cup winners, all of them, they got, lots and lots of love in that following season. And the noise coming from the stadium scared the life.
Yeah, I say what an absolute it must have been though, Budgie. In that, but
brilliant, And
so we're
Jack Milburn was still
Jeff Milburn,
about at the time, and he walked out onto the pitch, and the first thing he did was embraced Jeff Hurst, and then Bobby Moore, and then Martin Peters. But I mean, he was still about, but I don't think he was still playing, Jackie Milburn. I think he'd finished playing by that time, but I think he was like an ambassador or something for Newcastle. I mean, I'm kind of recalling the story as my parents told me,
Excuse me. So I'm just going to say goodbye before we wrap up. Brendan saying, great show and chat. I need to hit the A. Thanks all. Good night. Brendan, appreciate you being with us as always.
Always appreciate it, Brendan.
Howard, the same. Cheers, gentlemen. Much love and chat as always. Same for you, Howard. Brilliant being with us.
Thanks to all of you lifers.
Absolutely. Ian, I was saying, great show as always, guys. Getting us through the international break. Thanks to you all. No, you're most welcome. And you've also put this comment as well, Ian. This season, the fewest games I've been to in 2 years, I think. Haven't missed it and no desire to go again this season. That's how bad of a season it's been. Let's hope GP can get us sorted. Yeah, let's hope so as well, mate. I think it
let's hope so.
Joan, also great show. Really enjoyed it. Let's beat the Wolves. Absolutely, Joan. Thanks for being with us as well.
And we all want to say also, I think that we enjoy it because of you guys too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We probably wouldn't be chatting for 3.25 hours if it wasn't for the fact that you guys help with the conversation.
Totally agree on that.
It would probably be a very much shorter.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mad, Budgie, because I was going to have an international break and not do a show this week. Right? And I've done more shows than I normally do for about twice as long, both of them, right? But it's been actually really enjoyable. It's been, as you know, Tony and Budgie, it's very different when you're hosting a show to actually being a guest on the show.
Yeah.
It's been much easier for me to just relax and just worry about the comments that are displayed on the screen and just get involved in the conversation than it is when you're trying to read the comments, pay attention to what's being said and all the other things that go along with it. So I've really enjoyed these couple of shows, I have to say.
Yeah, it's good. That's what it's all about, mate. That's what it's all about. Frank said, my first memory was the old reserve games and we played West Ham. Jeff Parks was in goal. Bloody hell. The same night. Frog's also saying, thanks, chat. Top notch as usual. Absolutely. And good night. And good morning, chaps. Kieran, good morning to yourself, mate. And he says, get a bed, you tossers.
It didn't take him to get into longing to get in the swing of things, did it?
Frankie's saying, quality show. Thank you for making my night. Frankie, love, it's been a while, my friend, and it's good to see you back. And hopefully everything's well, health-wise as well.
Good to see you, Frankie.
Frankie, brilliant. Thanks for being with us as always. Leon saying, another brilliant chat, lad. Stay safe, come on, you irons. And same for you as well, Leon. Kieran, great show from James. Wish you well. We wish you as well, James. Thanks for being with us. And Kieran saying, good day, everyone in the chat.
Just quickly before we go, I'll ask Kieran. Kieran, what's your best memory of Stuart Slater?
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about him earlier.
Yeah.
What's your best memory of Stuart Slater, mate? Throw it in the chat.
Yeah, good to hear that. Frog saying, Kieran, morning, you dodgy Emery. Hope you're all good there. Yeah, absolutely. Geezer. And Terence saying, my brother's pitched by Ralph Harris. Girl on a swing has been devalued. Apparently, it's been touched up. Joe's saying, good day, Kieran, as well. Let's see if we get a comment from Kieran anyway, if he comes, if he's still there. And then we'll call it a night. So probably the Everton game, Slater. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, actually, Sean. Yeah, I know.
Frankie's saying, why can't Arsenal have a show like this? Right. Well, we try and make the exception to the rule, Frankie, when we do the Sunday night takeaway, when we obviously have the Arsenal boys in there as well. But this is the difference. You know, we are like that, which is great. Or do I have to trust the process? It's all about the foundations, Frankie. Don't forget that. All about the foundation.
Don't get us wrong. We have got our own version of AFTV and that, but you know, it's not quite on the same level as AFTV. I think they're very, very, very serious people, and I don't think they enjoy football very much because you don't tend to hear very much enjoyment coming from any of the people on the channel. Whereas, with the channel that I've got in mind that we have that's sort of on the angry side, that at least there's a lot of fun involved with it. And, it just seems to me every time I've watched AFTV, it's very little fun.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously you're saying about...
I know I'm singling out AFTV, but, for me, they are the worst of the bunch.
That's too easy, that is. I mean, but funny you're saying that about Budge, because obviously one of the West Ham channels, unfortunately, they did go on the show and that, and it's a case of like, I think you sold yourself down the river there, and that was a bit. But you're what you're saying, and unfortunately some of the bigger kind of West Ham channels, and that, it is a bit doom and gloom, really, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Not all top show as well. Daz, thanks for being with us as always. Kieran says, can't think too early, but I thought he was quality.
That'll do me, Kieran. That'll do me, son.
Frankie's saying, Budgie says it all as it is. If it walks it like a dog and barks like a dog, it's a dog. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Frog saying, my dog went into a pet hospital for a clipping and had cross-eyed when he came home. And Michael, please, with the last comment saying, AFTV is always fun for me. Budgie, they cry so much. Yeah, it is. As I always say, Arsenal are the gift that keeps on giving. And on that note, basically, yes, it's 3 hours and 22. Well, coming
blimey,
in the show.
It's a marathon for me, Tony.
I mean, you look at. I mean, like it seems every time we're doing these, we kind of go longer and longer on these shows.
Longer and longer, yeah. We get into it so much, we enjoy it so much.
That's the thing.
That's the problem.
And it's a chat as well that, as you said, Jeff, it's a chat that engages in with that, and it's great because that's what you want at the end of the day. And then we've got some great people in the community. As content creators, we built up a good relationship with a lot of people, some good people.
Yeah,
and that's what makes it worthwhile.
Talking to content creators, guys, don't forget to give Tony and the channel a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, down here, the Bowling Lounge, young Jeff here, he's got his own channel, and I run Green Street Elites as well. So give us all a bit of love and a bit of sharing and that.
Lovely, thanks for that, Budgie.
No, absolutely. No, thanks, Budgie. No worries. As Frankie said, it's a happy platform to be on, and that's what we try and create, Frankie. I mean, it's as you said, there's certain channels there. It's all about doom and gloom. We talk about our club, or as I do with the other shows, have a respective other clubs in there. But it's not all about just doom and gloom. It's about having a bit of laugh and banter as well, and that's what it's got to be about.
And the chat bring that as well, don't they? They bring the light-hearted side of it. most of the gags that have been aired tonight have come out of the chat, not out of us. So, you know, that's it's what makes it. Everyone getting involved, and we can all be serious, but you know,
otherwise we're just a bunch of old bastards chatting to ourselves.
I was going to say. The only thing that comes out of us in there early ones we alluded to, there's gas. That's about it, really. I mean, sorry, Fresh. I mean, I watch it for the Turkish rants and completely deluded Ty. Yeah, I mean, especially Ty when he kind of alluded that Arsenal are bigger than Real Madrid. That says it all. And Frankie's saying, "I'll tune in, fellas. I feel like I'm being groomed to be a hammer."
Well, nice one, Frankie.
We've achieved the last thing.
You come to the right place, mate.
Absolutely.
He's making the right switch.
And on that note, Frankie, before you go, just before you leave us, don't forget, as we always do at the end of this show and that, you've got to do this. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.